Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 39. Your weekly dose of PiGosaur Cup action. Here we go. We are back with our morning broadcast. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live. The bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into our first series of the broadcast and spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines. We have the American Terran player. We have the purple Terran representing formless bear slots. It is a teardrop. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Zerg player. We have the green Zerg, as I quickly set up his color. Un momento, papi. Bam, there we go. It is Reaper. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our initial TVZ. Whew, let's go. Again, when it comes to the bracket itself, we'll be catching up on the bracket after this match, after this series. Otherwise, I hope you've all been having a lovely beginning of your week and hope it all goes well from here on forward. I mean, but we at least have non-stop StarCraft. True, non-stop StarCraft. Yeah. Of course, we have the PiGosaur Cup this morning, and we have the podcast later on this evening as well. Later on in the week, we do have a non-stop StarCraft Evolution Masters events, and we have the FEL qualifiers over the weekend as well. It's gonna be a busy week. Busy week. Yeah. Not like this. For now, though, we're going to be settling in. For now, we're settling in, and this is going to be an interesting one here. Again, Teardrop is a player that I have not seen in quite some time. I mean, he's been around. I just haven't been able to cover him and cast him in quite some time, so we'll see how he compares. Coming into this matchup here, Reaper is going to be the favorite player. I think I mentioned this previously, but I believe Reaper is currently the highest ranked Zerg player in the Americas. I believe so. I believe he is the highest ranked Zerg player in the Americas. My apologies. In America, specifically in the US. Specifically in the US, Reaper, he is the one to look for, the one to look at. Meanwhile, Teardrop, of course, he has been rising the ranks amongst the NA scene as well. And we'll see how he compares as the initial Reaper does move out. Does move out across the map. Meanwhile, Reaper, back at home. Oh, that's a weird sentence. That's... is going to be joining. He's going to be going hatch gas pool. Is going to be joining on up. Is going to be settling in. So nothing crazy, nothing wild. We're calming down, getting into our first game, zoning away the Reaper, and soon claiming a third expansion, I would assume. This Reaper is staying on two bases a little bit longer, getting in position to deny those Reapers. And we do have a 3cc before starport. Economic opener here out of Teardrop. Everything looking normal, everything looking standard. But Reaper is staying on two bases. Reaper, he does not expand. He will opt to stay on two bases that much longer here. And as a result, we may see a Roach Warren thrown down. He's intentionally, again, staying on two bases. Going to be securing himself here on a two-base setup. We're expecting earlier tech of choice here as he's opting to go for a later expansion. We go. So now we're still droning. You can see here we're staying in gas. We're not getting into link speed. Another gas guys is on the way. Lair is in production. So this is either reading Roach play or this could be two-base Muta. True, this could be two-base Muta here out of Reaper. There could be another weird crazy build like two-base Nidus, I suppose. Link speed is on the way. We're not going to be skipping it. Interesting. Okay, so we're still investing into link speed. Of course, we're still droning up, taking all four gases. This has to be Muta play. There's just so much gas to work with. Reaper Scout, does go into the main, and the Reaper will confirm the lair timing and will get eyes on some of the gases. He has a piece of the puzzle. He knows something is wrong. He knows something is quite tech heavy here. He knows how late the expansion is. There's something is not quite right. And again, technically, we could be rushing into like two-base Swarm Host or rushing into two-base Lurker. There are some niche builds that we could be that could be applicable here. But if we have a standard player, then we're expecting Muta play out of Reaper. We'll keep an eye on him. Until then, we do have the initial Banshee on the way. Cloak is being reached, so 3cc Banshee here out of Teardrop. Meanwhile, as we assumed, it is two-base Muta. Again, I did want to leave the door open here to potentially something a little bit more quirky, just because, you know, it is the NA region. But it is going to be a two-base Muta here. Hellions, they try to poke in. A nice wall by Reaper. He does fully wall up. Keeping the Hellions pinned back. Does keep them pinned. As the queens move out, we can try to bypass, we can try to dive into the bases, we can try to dive into the natural. As Hellions, they attempt to break in. They attempt. So far the queens are keeping up. And Teardrop, he's yet to move out with the Banshee. This is going to be a delayed scout out of the Terran. That is a little bit concerning. So it's going to be a much later scout here. Meanwhile, we have Overlord Speed on the way. That is typically not researched alongside this, just because that's 100 gas not being spent on mutas. So that's a bold move here by Reaper. He does have complete information. He saw the 3rd CC. He saw the starport as well. He saw the tech lab. But this may at least help when it comes to Overseers, when it comes to detection, chasing down those Banshees. As Hellions are being zoned away. Hellions are good for the dive. Lings are keeping up, and so far, very nice around. He shuts down the Hellions. Going to be cleaned up here. Checking the vision. What did we see? What did we get eyes on? We did confirm the Spire. Turrets are on the way. Turrets are being thrown down. Banshees, they poke in towards the bases. Mutas are on the way. How many in total so far? 8. 8 mutas here. 4 Reaper. Drones are getting picked off. 2 so far. Mutas, they turn back around to help deal with the Banshees. No detection. Oh. Yeah, the Overseers on the way. Getting 4 drone kills so far. Banshees will be cleaned up. And they did not pay for themselves, but they at least bought time. They bought time, and now the turrets are done. Marines are staying back home. We have a turret for each base, for each mineral line. The production is a little bit more exposed. We typically would see a turret here in between the racks as well. So that is a bit of an opening here that Reaper can abuse. Speaking of, he does move out. Does hit the natural. Gets an SCV. So he rotates over. Right now it's on Teardrop to just turtle up. Just turtle up as hard as he can. To fortify himself. And so far so good. He's now pushing out. It's a bold move. Now he is pushing pre bathing speed. Bathing speed is still halfway done. Likewise, melee upgrades as well are lacking. Here comes the stim. And these are going to be slow baits to defend. Teardrop, he can pull this off. It's going to be close. Stim's on forward. Reaper, he has to buy a little bit more time. Bailing speed is still a ways away. Hatchery is close to going down. And here comes the link. Oh, doesn't quite commit. He can't quite engage. Teardrop still just rallying across the map. Still moving in. The hatchery should go down. Nice pickup. So far, so good. Bailing speed about to finish. The creepers receding. There's the Unsiege. Does go for the dive. The first tank is going to go down. The Marine's out of position. Yeah, he wasn't looking, wasn't paying attention. Not stuttering. No, barely any bailings here. Yeah, there's not many bailings, but he does get both tanks. Yeah, both tanks go down. Teardrop, the army's quite fragile. Bailings, they do graze the army. Wow, but he's done it. Yeah, he has done it. He can sim on it. He can keep going. No, we can keep pushing. The bailing's not done. Teardrop. He's giving Reaper a lot of time. Yeah, he's a little bit too tentative here. He could break this position. He's not feeling confident. He pulls away. He does miss the opening. Alas, he's waiting for reinforcements instead, and Reaper, he's gonna be able to survive a little bit longer here. He's massing up Morling Bane. Does mass up more, connects with the ByuN. Yeah, the splits are not good enough. Teardrop, he had momentum, he had the supply lead, he had the army. Like, that was it. He could have taken this game. He could have broken at least the natural, could have denied the bailings. But yeah, I wasn't feeling too confident. And with that, Reaper, what's scary here is that Reaper, sure, he lost the base, but he saved the drones. Like, that's what's terrifying about this position, is that Reaper, he has an economy. Marines, they stim forward. There's not much other to really get done. The hatchery does buy time. Reaper, he's stabilizing. He is going to be stabilizing here. Meanwhile, we do see continued tank production, which I'm a little bit concerned by. Typically, at this point, we would need to switch into Widowmines. Widowmines, they excel against Lings, against Banelings, against Mutas as well. Tanks are a little more limited in what they can provide. So I'm not too in love with the idea of continuing tank production here. Spelled out! Speaking of no splits. Yeah, no splits here from Teardrop. He does take the Banelings to the face. Brutal losses. At the same time, Mutas, they do hit the 4th. Meanwhile, the southern base is going to go down. Another hatchery falls, but again, the Reaper, he does have a backup expansion. Does spot some of the Banelings. He can't keep pushing. Yeah, it drags the army into tank fire. And the question becomes, I mean, this time Teardrop, he has to go, oh, no, he has to commit. Calm down. Okay, pulls away. Jesus. Pulls away, avoids the Banelings. Liberation has arrived. Now, are there enough Marines? I don't think there are. Yeah, there's just not enough bio here. He takes the Banelings to the face. He's lacking anti-air. There's tanks, yes, there are medevacs, but there's limited just anti-air here for the Mutas. He just let out so much. And with that, he's going to be cleaned up. He's going to be cleaned up. The Mutas, they do overwhelm. And once again, he just hasn't been killing drones. He hasn't been getting economic damage. This is also, I mean, we mentioned before why tanks are not really ideal in this position. Like, if we had Widowmines instead, then, I mean, they provide more anti-air here to help support against those Mutas. Lower production has begun. We have one Widowmine, true. Let's go. We have the 1 mine. And we've built up to how many? 21 Mutas. Jesus, that's a lot of Mutas here. Reaper with this, he can overwhelm the turrets. He can get into the mineral line. Teardrop is out of position. Not where it needs to be. Turret goes down. The Thor does get a lot of volleys off. Okay. Thor gets a lot of volleys. The Mutas should not be fighting like this. A lot of Mutas are going to be going down. He does get 14 SCVs. Takes down the Liberators, but a lot of Mutas are being thrown away here. That was 11. 11 Mutas just went down. We can see Reaper transitioning into Ultras. Ultras, they would excel here as well. True. They would be amazing against this kind of army. It's still very tense. I can still see a world where Teardrop can at least rotate and knock down expansions. Whether or not he gets a mineral line yet to be seen. Likewise, Lingbane army is still amassing, and it's going to come down to the Terran players' unit control, come down to their splits, their micro. There's not that many Marines here. We'll get the expansion, and he may get the mineral line this time. That's so much Lingbane, though. Yeah, this time there is a ground army. Marshall goes off. Very nice mine connection, but only 1 Widow mine. With that Banelings, they crash in. Hatchery goes down. Very nice burrow. Saves the drones. Once again, the drones just survive. Oh, now we're getting to Widow mine production. Teardrop, he's pushing through. But here come the Ultras. Here come the Ultras, and behind this is no Ghost Academy. There's no Academy. There's no Liberators, not anymore. Now, these are going to be unupgraded Ultras. They're going to be working with 1-2 upgrades. So the Ultras themselves are not going to be as imposing. Oh! Marshall's being dragged away. And nice drags with the Widow Mines, but Marines are going to be rushing in. And can the Ultras survive this? Can Reaper hold on? Where are the Ultras? They're coming. The Ultras are coming in. Again, there's only Marine to defend. Only Marine to work with. And he cannot fight this. Yeah, he cannot fight the Ultras. Ultras, they collapse in. They force a pickup. Now we have tech collapse on the way. Widow Mines can do decently well here against the Ultras, but yeah, they're pushing through. The Ultras, they break on through. Denies the base, denies the mineral line. There is a planetary to defend. See, Marauder production has begun. Now, a couple of workers did fall here, and we do see Reapers had inefficient mining. He does have a high base count, but the economy here is a little bit lackluster, so he's rejoining. Okay, he is rejoining. That's important. Likewise, Kindness Plating just finished. He's getting into +3 carapace, but the upgrades are now getting out of hand. Like, at this point, Reaper is now getting into his stride. We're done with Muta play. Now it's all about the ultras. And again, Teardrop is not ready for this. He's got a couple of Marauders, which will help. But the Marauders are getting caught out. Yeah, the Marauders are exposed. They do actually survive. Okay. Gotta be able to pick up one of these ultras. Barely does escape. Barely does get away. Let's go. We got Burrowed Bailings. You have Burrowed Bailings here outside of the bases. Teardrop, his economy is looking pretty terrifying. He has a high CC count, sorry, I should say he has an high orbital count, so he's muling. I would say he has a greater economy compared to Reaper. So Reaper he hasn't joining to, he's joining up to 77. The Ultra's getting well upgraded. And this is where now Teardrop needs tanks, Liberators, Ghosts. Now, Teardrop, he's going to be the first to max out, but what kind of army is he going to have? That's going to be the big question here. Right, the soup does lie. As Liberators are moving in. Queen's reposition. Gets a drone. Gets some damage. I'm a little bit concerned about the Liberators being used to harass. But they're in a way kind of paying for themselves. Getting damage. Ghost Academy just now finishing up, still not ready. Here come the Fungals. And this army should not be here. Yeah. She should not be here. Has to pull out. Let's pull away. Oh no, the SCV. Smash. Likewise, do see a Teardrop at least going for some drop play here. Does force a cancel. Ghost production has begun. Without a high ghost count, Teardrop, he can't really be too active. So checking the army size here, only 3 ghosts. So really low ghost count. Meanwhile, there's 7 ultras for Reaper. In a head-on fight, I do favor Reaper, but the army is fragmented. He's got a lot of ultras here towards the top side. We do have a Fungal grazing the army. Reaper is not quite ready for this. Another Infestor goes down. And Liberation has arrived. He's coming in from behind. Reaper does turn back around. Bailey's going to be shut down by the tanks. Snipe's going to be going up. And it's going to be close, but I believe the Ultra should fall. Yeah, there's 1 Ultra left. Down to 0. Yeah, takes out all the Ultras. Does take the fight. Oh no, catches the Infestor as well. And that was a hefty loss here for Teardrop. Sorry, for Reaper, I meant to say. Reaper, he has almost nothing left. He has a handful of Ultras remaining. They're on the way. The army's overstimmed, but Teardrop, he takes the fight. He takes the fight, and there's no creep. There's no creep. There's no presence on the map here. Reaper, he is in danger. Like, he's up against the wall. In general, Teardrop has had greater fights and these stronger moments, as we've pointed out. Feels like he has been for the most part in the driver's seat. The big power spike for Reaper was when his Ultras first arrived. But, I mean, that was only a moment here because now there are Ghosts. Right now there are Ghosts, now there are Tanks, now there are Liberators. Now the Terran player has an answer to the Ultras. And now the Ultras aren't as impactful as they once were. Unfortunately as well, Reaper lost all the spellcasters, right? There's no more Infestors, there's no more Fungals. Reminds me of Burrow. Oh god, no! The Mind Shots! Oh my god, brutal connections. Mind Shots say pop up. We do have a couple of Burrowed Bailings. Let's go. At the same time, Rama is going to be cleaned up. The Ghost do Cloak. Yeah, Teardrop, he's all over this. He will defend. Scans ahead of time. And Reaper, he did fight well here. And impressed that he was able to recover despite, I would say, a shaky start and some really rough fights. But at this point, he's running out of steam. At this point, Snipes, they will clean up. At least they should. Ultras are pushing through. Okay, okay. The Ultras, they do actually break through. Widow Mines will reset. Reaper takes a better fight than I thought. I'm impressed that the Ultra survived. They just survive. Reaper is still redroning, still resaturating. Trying to get a semblance of an economy. It's still a rough position though for Reaper. And Teardrop, he's remaxing. He's remaxing now with more Liberators. We have Liberator range on the way. Ghosts are amassing. More Marines. Oh. We haven't seen these Banelings pop off yet, but there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential. We have Banelings in the center, Banelings here on the right. I appreciate them. Scans at a time. Likewise, Liberator coming from behind. Teardrop, he's moving in. Reaper has more workers. This is never game stabilize. No, the game has yet to stabilize. Teardrop is going to be the first to max out, and Teardrop's going to be the first to push. Right now, the pressure is still on Reaper to stabilize and to recover. He isn't there yet. He's getting there if Teardrop is passive. If Teardrop is passive, then there's definitely a chance here for Reaper to... Oh, speaking of, run by, does get a tank. Heads into the bases, could distract Teardrop. And again, right now it's about buying time. It's about buying time to max out. Greater Spires on the way. Lings are in the bases, and Teardrop, he turns around. Yeah, he turns everything back around. And this is crucial. Like, this is important. We're buying time, we're dragging back the army. And Reaper, he now has access to what? To Broodlords. So he can morph in Broodlords. The upgrades are a little bit lacking when it comes to his air-based army. He has the Greater Spire, but he only has +1. The bigger Broodlords are on the way. Do we have any Infestors? Currently, no. 0 Infestors. I mentioned this earlier, where the soup does lie. Like, the supply can be deceiving at times. This is a very Ling-heavy competition. It's mainly Zergling here. So the finesse isn't quite there for Reaper yet. But he's getting there. Once again, speaking of, he's just sending out all the Lings. Let's go. It's mainly a Zergling competition, as Reaper has no gas. Like, Reaper's gas income is quite limited. He needs his gases. Looking for more tanks, and it looks like he will get one, but it's going to cost him almost every single Zergling. That was 100. Jesus, he lost 117, 125 even Zerglings. 27. More Zerglings going down. It does get on top of a planetary, not bad. Takes down the planetary. And at least he's mainly losing Zerglings. Like, these are Zerglings that he can replenish. He can rebuild them. Getting another tank. Teardrop, he's falling apart at the seams. As we have how many Broodlords so far? 4. 4 Broodlords. That's a lot of ghosts, but where's the support? As we're keeping the rest of the army back home. Yeah, one ghost goes down. Teardrop now moving in. Getting into Yamato. Bold move. Okay. Working towards potentially BCs. Interesting. Out of Teardrop. Things they once again get into the run by, they get into the counterattack, they do get another planetary. Nice pickup. Planetary is going to be going down. And Teardrop, he just wants a main fight. he just wants to send it back. As he will lose 12 SCVs. Another base goes down. It does force him to respond. Because this rotation, now he's going to have that many less Marauders here to deal with the Ultras. Snipes, they pop up. And Teardrop not where he needs to be, getting caught out. Nice catch here from Reaper. Oh, I say that. Oh my, the Ultras, they just mowed through the... Sorry, the Marauders, they just mowed through the Ultras. That's 2 Ultras going to be going down. But they do get another expansion. Nice pickup. Takes out another base. Now we see a big rotation here by Teardrop. Once again, Teardrop's has been having a really hard time keeping up the army movements here of Reaper. That is keeping Reaper in this game. Like, despite Reaper not having much of a bank and not having any economy, he's hanging in there. He's been trying to stabilize for the past, like, 15-ish minutes, and he's still on the road. Infestors are on the way. Teardrop, he's maxed out. If Teardrop pushes, I do think he can end it. But again, it's all about just delaying that. It's all about buying time, all about hoping that Teardrop stays home. Reaper's pushing in. That's Fungal doesn't quite connect. There's one more Fungal. It does graze the army. And now he's just pushing in. Yeah, now he's pushing forward. Where's the anti-air? Liberators, even if they don't siege up, they can just chase down these Broodlords. Yeah, they could just chase them down. Speaking of the one Viking just going ham, it does get a free Broodlord. And he can just keep going. Yeah, Liberation has arrived. And again, the run-bys and counterattacks were impressive here from Reaper, but it just wasn't quite enough to fully recover. As a nice Fungal, very nice. Chain Fungal as well, getting on top of the Ghost. But there's a Cloak. Yeah, they cloak, no detection. GG gets called, and Teardrop, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Teardrop, he does take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth here. It all did begin with Reaper going into 2-base Muta, right? He went into the Muta play early on, and he was able to get away unscouted. The Mutas, they did achieve quite a bit of damage, or I say a bit of damage. He was able to get away with it, able to gain map control. I will say, though, that we saw that Teardrop had a stronger initial push and a stronger initial wave. I do think that he could have broken the natural base earlier. He even scanned ahead of time, and he saw the lack of banelings, he saw the lack of setup, but he was feeling he was lacking confidence. I think that's what I will say the most about Teardrop throughout the course of this game, is it did feel like many times he would either take a lead, gain momentum, but would never really press that advantage. I don't blame him necessarily. There were definitely some instances where he could not push. If he did, he would be caught out. But yeah, he was very tentative and definitely was second guessing himself at times when it comes to pushing and when it comes to breaking out. Regardless, GG well played. Teardrop, he does take game number 1, and now we're jumping into game number 2, and we'll see if Reaper can recover, bounce back, and force the ace match. We'll see if Teardrop will close it out here and now. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting ready for the second game. He had it, then he lost it. Can't blame him for not knowing there wasn't more. If you're referring to when Teardrop was pushing towards the natural, he did scan ahead of time. That's my one criticism there, is that he scanned and he saw the banelings were still morphing in. That's where my criticism lies. He saw it, Pappy. He saw it. But let's go. Let us go. Getting into game number 2. It looks like game 2 is going to be on Pylon. Okay. Here we go. We're getting here into our second game. Pylon is going to be an interesting one. Pylon is a smaller map in the map pool. Aggression is favored here as well. This is where it would be risky to go for something like Mutaplay, so I don't expect to see that again out of Reaper. But this is where something like Roaches can excel. Going for a Roach-based opener and something more aggressive, I mean, from either side, is going to hit harder here on Pylon. So we'll see. We'll see how Reaper does open up. We'll see how he does adjust throughout the course of the series. Let's go. Reaper random? Oh, no, he's playing Zerg. He's playing Zerg. I did ask Reaper if he was going to play Protoss, and he was like, no, he just plays Protoss for fun, but he competes as Zerg. Thankfully. Thank God. So, does compete as Zerg. I was concerned coming into this, for sure. But it's all good. But here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of a Pylon, we have the purple Terran player. We have the American Terran representing Formless Bear Sloths. It is a Teardrop. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the green Zerg player. We have the American Zerg. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this and force the ace match. It is Reaper. Here we go. And again, last game, as a reminder, he did open up 2-base lair, 2-base into Muta. It was a risky build to go for, but it did go unscouted. He was able to gain map control and shut down the Banshees, if you recall, as well, shut down the Hellion run by. But I don't expect to see that here on Pylon. I'm leaning more towards Roach-based play. We have seen a lot of Roach-based aggression out of Reaper, and I do think that can excel quite heavily here on Pylon, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Reaper. I don't know if I really expect anything different out of Teardrop, just going for 3cc into 111 into Banshee play. I'm not too familiar with his playstyle, so we'll see. Don't know if he's one to embrace mech. I don't feel like this is the best map for that kind of style either. So I'm moving out. So now we're going to be going for the Hatchcat's Pool. Standard opener so far here out of Reaper. The first big thing we're going to be looking for here is whether or not he does research link speed. If you recall, last game he skipped link speed. He banked up his resources for the faster layer. But this time, oh, there you go. Link speed is on the way, and he pulls out a gas. So this time a much more standard opener here out of Reaper. Does pull out, zones away the Reaper. And we'll soon look to expand, I would imagine. As Reaper is staying on 2 bases. Behind this third CC is on the way for a Teardrop. And once again, Reaper is staying on 2 bases. Okay, and he's pulling back into gas. So, really dedicated, really early gas income here out of Reaper. This can once again lead into a fast lair. I don't like the idea of going into 2-base Muta, I'll be honest, especially with a 2-1-1 on the way. So 3cc 2-1-1 out of Teardrop. He does mix up his builds. Meanwhile, that's a fast lair. Second gas is on the way, and I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to take more gases than we're going to go 2-base Muta. 3cc 2-1-1 might just be a hard counter. This is going to hit hard here with Mass Marine. With Mass Marine, with an Adelsol, with early stim as well. Third base is on the way. Has yet to take his gases at the natural, thankfully. But good. He is still prioritizing gas. There we go. Now taking extra gases. This does feel like 2-base Muta. Overlord Scout does confirm the build. He knows. He does see the second racks. There's the add-on swap into early stim. So again, this is going to be a much earlier sim timing here out of Teardrop, but likewise is working towards a reactor into add-on swap into Metavax into an early push. This is where Muta play would be very risky. Okay, Bailey Nest first. Thank God. Does go for the nest, but he is going to base Muta. Okay. We'll see if he can get away with it. Now, thankfully, what I will say is that this is not a regular 2-on-1. Because this is a third CC before the starport, this will hit later. So it's going to be a later sim timing, a later move out. So there's going to be a higher chance that Reaper will have enough time to build up a Ling Bane army to defend and to survive. And on top of that, Reaper, he scouted, right? He knows. Like, he saw the second racks, he saw the add-on swap. So that's why he went for the earlier Bailey Nest. I should be going for earlier Bailing speed as well. Yep, there we go. Instant Bailing speed. So as opposed to the previous game, this Bailing speed is much, much earlier. And again, this is a reaction to what he saw. Is it going to be enough there? As here we go. Ling Bane is amassing. More Lings are building up. Reaper, it looks like he should be okay. Like, he should be able to amass a large enough army here to defend, to survive. Here comes the move outs. And yeah, there's plenty. Yeah, there's plenty to defend. Whew. Let's go. They do sim in. They're going to be denied some creep, but again, there's plenty to work with, and he can only deny creep. And Lings, they collapse in, chasing down the Metavax as well. Going to be forced to pick up, and he'll be forced back home. Ooh, and the Metavax are going to be hunted down. Yeah, there's no boost. Both Metavax, they will fall massive pickoffs. And Reaper, he denies the third base. Behind this, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's just nothing here. As Marines, they just went down. There's a handful of Marines left here on the low ground, but Reaper can just overwhelm. Yeah, you can just move in. Cannon will overwhelm. GG gets called, and Reaper ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. And again, thankfully, Reaper, he was able to scout ahead of time. Remember, he saw the initial build. He went for the earlier bailiness. He went for the earlier bailing speed. And he did emphasize his own ground army as well. The mutas, they played their part. That's true. There were 8 mutas, around 8 or so mutas. But he did have enough of a ground army to overwhelm, to shut down the army, to counterattack. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to the ace match, and we'll see how this story ends. I'm curious to see if we have more Muta play out of Reaper. Looks like our last map is going to be Incorporeal. I like this map a lot more for Muta play. This is going to be a much larger map. This is going to give Reaper more breathing room as well, and will allow him to actually cut corners and be a little bit greedier coming into his Muta play. Assuming he goes for the same build, or the same opener, I should say. From the side of Teardrop, we'll see if he's going to be a little bit more assertive here. I don't know if you really can on Incorporeal. Like, I'm thinking potentially 1-1-1 into an early Hellbat push. Builds like this can be more successful if he tries to hard counter. Otherwise, may just look to play a standard game. Let's find out. Let us find out. This morning in the bottom right hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the American Terran player. We have the purple Terran being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back for the formless bear slots? It is a Teardrop. Un momento. Un momento. Beautiful. And this morning in the top left hand corner, we have the American Zerg player. We have the green Zerg. It is Reaper. Here we go. Again, so far Reaper has gone 2-base Muta twice at this point. Twice so far. And he has adjusted, of course, depending on what he's been scouting. And we'll see if Teardrop does adjust his own approach as well. Here we go. Like, again, I can see, like, a committed 1-1-1 build punishing Reaper. If Reaper does blindly, once again, go into 2-ace Muta. If he's able to scout, though, then, of course, he can prepare. I wouldn't be opposed to Teardrop even just playing standard. Just go for a 3CC into 1-1-1. I mean, hey, it worked on ley lines. Didn't have to be too fancy with your play. SB moves out. See, this is where we have 2-base play out of Reaper, and this time he throws down the Roach Warren. Ah, let's go. So now SCV Scout confirms the standard opener. Everything so far looking as it should. So far so good. The Reaper does pick in. Lane speed is on the way. We're staying in gas, so once again, looks like 2-base Muta. I say that, it looks like fast lair into extra gases into Muta play. Looks like the same build. Yeah, as Reaper, he does not pull out of gas. Pulls in. And again, it's going to be up to Teardrop to actually confirm it. Behind this, it is going to be a third CC into Starport. So this time, it is going to be a standard build. This is the same build that we saw in Game 1. And there it is. There is the lair. There's a lair. There's the gases. Once again, it's going to be on the Reaper to confirm. To get a read what's going on. So far there, Teardrop, he stays back. With the initial Reaper Hellion, he can try to dive past. For now, just poking in, takes down a couple of tumors. Banshee production has begun. Teardrop, he should have checked the third timing here. Regardless, he saw there was no third base earlier, so he should be aware of the build that's happening. Early Overlord speed here from Reaper, interesting. Going in for the scouts, it does confirm. Yeah, he does get eyes on the earlier starports. Hellion dive into the bases, getting a couple of drones. More importantly, he does get into the main. Eva Chamber not fast enough, and he does get the lair. Yeah, he does put the lair. Early Bailey Nest. No Spire, though. Are we going for Dropper Lords? Oh. As for now, yes, that's going to be 10 drone kills. Jesus. 10 drones going down. That is brutal damage. And he gets behind the natural as well, looking for the Spire. The Spire gets thrown down after the army gets cleaned up in the main. So it's going to be a later Spire here, or delayed Spire out of Reaper. And Teardrop, he should be aware of what's happening. Like, remember, he saw the late third, he saw all the gases, and he saw the early lair as well. So it has to be Muta. I mean, technically, it could also be like 2-base infestation into 2-base Swarm Host. But Reaper isn't Eric. Like, he's not like he's not one to go 2-base Swarm Host. That's a very niche build. Likewise, 2-base Lurker is also very niche as well. Is it Moku? I think Moku went for 2-base Lurker. Oh wait, no, sorry, it was Hacker's top, that's it. It's a wild time. So it's one of those things where Teardrop, he didn't see the spire itself, but everything that he saw tells him that it's a spire, or that it should be. And to confirm, we could see a scan at this point. I wouldn't be opposed to the Terran players scanning the main base or scanning one of the expansions just to get a read on what's happening. I don't see any turrets, which is my concern. There's no turrets, there's no anti-air. There's Marines, of course, but no stack defense. There it is. Yeah, scan into the main. Confirms the spire. Now he knows. Turrets are being thrown down. One in each mineral line. Banshee commits across the map. No cloak. And we're getting into our game. When did he get Overlord speed? He got the Overlord speed right after the lair. He got it with his first 300 gas. He got it as the drones were dying. As drones were dying, he was getting Overlord speed. As from here, bathing speed was not started actually. Yeah, Marines, they started up well. Yeah, bathing speed was forgotten, so a bit of an oversight here from Reaper. Ay. Very late bathing speed. And Teardrop, he can bully the Grand Army. Yeah, he can just bully this. As long as he can target fire, he should be okay. Speaking of, there's 3 bathings, now there's 2. Now there's 1. Yeah, now there's 0. 0 bathings left. There's no bathings. Now is the time to push. Reaper going for the counterattack. Ideally, he wants to try to force the army back home. He needs them to turn around. Bailings are now morphing in. They're morphing in here outside of the natural. Teardrop, he's distracted. Oh. He scans. He sees the Banelings. He sees. Can he target them down? Oh, they're gonna finish. Your Banelings do finish. Baneling speed is almost done. Mutazay busts into the mineral line. SCV is gonna be going down at the same time. So are drones. Yeah, drones are falling. Baneling speed is almost complete. It's almost finished. Oh, still not quite though. 5 more seconds. And Teardrop, he trades well. So far, at least. Reaper coming in for the surround. And Bailings, they will crash in. We get some okay splits. Oh, 1 Bailing connects. And he has enough. Yeah, Teardrop, he just rallies. At this point, he rallies. GG gets called as Reaper is broken. And Teardrop, he will take the series 2-1. He will advance on to the round of 16. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Reaper, he was able to hide his build. That was true. Eventually, he got scouted. Unfortunately, Teardrop. Unfortunately, Reaper, he was unable to. I mean, he forgot bathing speed. Straight up bathing speed. That he had no intention of attacking across the map without it. That was a bit more of an oversight. But congratulations here to Teardrop. Again, Teardrop, I would say he's more of an underdog. Teardrop, he is a little bit on the lower end of the GM scene. So for him to bring the series, for him to take the series and to cause the upset, very impressive play here by Teardrop. GG, well played. Does claim it. A shout out to Reaper though. Again, he had some really unique builds going into Muta play. It's not standard, right? It's not very standard. It's more of a rare sight, opening up 2 base Muta. We saw it excel. Like game 2 was a good example of being able to scout and to react and to respond to his opponents. The other games we saw, like, again, a little bit rough around the edges at times. Game 1 was very intense, very back and forth. Here in game 2, unfortunately, just one bad fight can kind of cost you the game here, and we saw that without Baneling speed, the Ling Bane was bullied all the way back home. Teardrop, he just sent it. GG, well played. And with that, we are now getting into our next series. We're going to be following Teardrop into his ex-opponent. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting ready here for our round of 16 match, exclamation mark be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us catch on up. Okay. Oh, gee, there's a little update. From the top, we do have ByuN. ByuN does take down JMAC 2-0. It does fall to MaxPax in the next round. Does fall to MaxPax. MaxPax advancing on a face-off against Geralt in the quarterfinals. Does advance on. Likewise, Geralt, he does take down Percival. Does take down Percival 2-0. Now facing off against MaxPax in the quarterfinals. So best of luck in that PvP. Scrolling on down, we do have a GuMiho. GuMiho waiting patiently here for his next opponent. And here we have a GuMiho versus Teardrop in a Terran versus Terran matchup. That's going to be our next series. That's going to be our next matchup. Beautiful. As we are setting up, scrolling down, we do have Astrea. Astrea takes down at Medic Jr. 2-0. Astrea waiting for the winner of the series, so we're going to be following our Terran players into Astrea. That's going to be the goal here into the upper semifinals. This is going to be the kind of the main focus of the stream, or of where our casting is going to take us. So it's going to be GuMiho, Teardrop, into Astrea, into MaxPax, and Geralt. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have the lower half of the bracket as well. We do have ByuN. ByuN takes down Fireclaw 2-0. Fireclaw took down Hapsaya. ByuN now up against sOs in a TVP. Oh my god, the lower bracket has been progressing very quickly. Solo takes down Mutes, and Creator is up against Young Yakov. That's the other portion of the bracket I was tempted to jump into. I was tempted to cover Creator and Young Yakov into Solar, into ByuN or sOs, but we committed to the upper half of the bracket here. I wanted to cover Reaper. I wanted to cover our boy Reaper. You know, much love to Reaper. Again, he's a really he's an amazing player. He's really strong in his own right. A bit of a rougher first series here for Reaper, but wish him the best. Wish him the best. Also, check out Reaper's stream. Reaper, he does stream quite often. He does stream his POV. He does stream his ladder. At times, he plays Protoss. Este Reaper. But yeah, much love to Reaper. Much love. As we are getting ready for our next matchup. We go. Young Yakov is in the bracket. He is. Best of luck. Best of luck. Este Yakov. For now, Vitas are underway, so we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have GuMiho and Teardrop after the break. See you soon. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the PiGosaur Cup number 39 as we are jumping into the round of 16. And we're just getting some updates in the chat. Apparently, Yakov just took down Creator. Very impressive play there by Este Yakov. But of course, we have our own series that we're jumping into. And here we go. Spawning in the right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing S8UL Esports. It is a GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player from the land of the Americas, representing the formless Berthos. It is Teardrop. And if you're in the chats, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our TVT. Coming into this, GuMiho is a heavy favorite here to go on a deep run in this tournament, but we'll see if Teardrop can bring him down. We'll see if he can cause another upset. Again, like even in his series against Reaper, I was favoring Reaper, but we'll see what Teardrop brings to the table as he does open up Turax Reaper. Okay, so Turax Reaper out of Teardrop. Meanwhile, GuMiho, double gas opener, faster factory, a more tech heavy start, faster Hellion as well. I do favor GuMiho in this position, but depending on how hard Teardrop commits, he can over. Oh Jesus! Speaking of how hard he commits, we're going up to 3 Raxes. Okay, bold move. So not 2, we're going up to 3 Rax Reaper instead. Much more committed here from Teardrop. Meanwhile, GuMiho back at home so far is none the wiser. Ooh, going for reactor first before the factory. Okay, before any units, I should emphasize. So reactor first into factory. With this, can reactor out his own Reapers, of course. And we'll see how our players do compare. So we are still amassing. The Reapers are building up. But again, I feel like GuMiho, with this setup, he should be able to hold his own, production-wise, I mean. Sure, he's going to have less Reapers, but he will have the Hellions and the Cyclones to support. As GuMiho will now go for the delayed expansion. Reapers, they do move out. Teardrop, he commits so hard, they propose on the first date. Oh no. Oh god. He's committed, okay? He's there for you. Ah. Let's go. Teardrop. So now we're still just massing on more Reapers. Does bypass the main army, sneaking up behind the Hellions. Okay. Does come in from behind. Does hit the natural. Teardrop, he cancels up the surround. Dies on the Hellion. Not bad. The Hellion is going to go down. Ooh, but takes down... Oh, never mind. The Hellion survives. The Hellion lives. Takes out all 3 Reapers. Ay. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there from Teardrop, and things are going from bad to worse here. Teardrop, he's running out of steam. He has lost momentum. He's in danger, and he has nothing. He has nothing here. It's going to be 2 against 4 Reapers. Ay. Eventually, he got the Hellion, of course, but by then, it's too little too late. Now he's trying to expand. So let's get a lot of shots off. Reapers, they bust in. Yeah, they bust into the bases. They get another 2 Reapers. Production may be enough to hold on. And Teardrop, he does hold. Does defend. Behind this, though, we have tank production. CC's already done. Orbitals on the way. GuMiho getting further ahead. And Teardrop is trying to transition out of this. We do have a CC on the way, but it's still not quite done. Now, there is a chance if he can bypass the main army, if he can get into the main base, maybe he can pick up a couple of SCVs. Speaking of, he's going for the main. Going for the main base. Gets a couple of SCVs, gets 1, gets 2. 2 SCVs go down. Tank is out of position, can go for more workers, not bad. Getting up to 2 so far. It doesn't quite get in. Reapers are zoned away. And again, GuMiho is just outscaling Teardrop. Teardrop is up to 7 Reapers. Let's go. And once again, he can try to ignore the army. Gets a Hellion. Hellion pulls away, building up his own natural. He's turned away. And there's no rush for GuMiho. Like, to be honest, he doesn't have to push, he doesn't have to break the natural base or try to bust into the main. Like, GuMiho can just chill, calm down, get his third, macro from here, maintain his lead, get further ahead. Is harassing with his cyclones, but outside of that, he's stabilizing back at her. Just building up his forces. Meanwhile, gets into the natural, gets one, gets two SCVs. Doesn't quite get the mule. Doesn't I mining, getting another two SCVs. Another SCV goes down. And claiming another 3, 6 in total. As this one cyclone drop, it's killing Teardrop. It's getting another 3, getting into 4 SCV kills, does boost delay, avoids the Marines, even forcing a stim. As GuMiho threads the needle, dipping in between the bases, gets another Marine, pops out at the 3rd. Oh, Teardrop unable to catch him, not yet. There's a stim. That's been how many? That's been 10 worker kills. And now here comes the main force. Now here comes GuMiho. He has a tank lead. He's got Banshees in the mix. Oof. Does punish those Reapers. The lock-ons are brutal. Cashing out all 7 Reapers. They'll do go down. And from here he can just push in. We have Hyperflight Rotors on the way, more factories getting to mech. If he needs it. As GG gets schooled, as he does take down the 3rd base, that's going to be a kill in the 3rd CC, and GuMiho takes game at number 1. Ooh, GG. A solid game there out of GuMiho. Again, Teardrop, he had potential when it came to the early rush. Unfortunately, everything fell on its face in the first fight. If you recall, winding it back, what happened, he went for the initial 3 Reapers. He got behind the army, came in from behind. I assumed he was trying to set up a surround, and he got caught out. And he lost all 3 Reapers for nothing. He didn't get a single unit for the 3 Reapers, and everything just snowballed very quickly out of control. GG. GG, well played. As we are getting into our next game. Game 2 is going to be on PyLon. Okay. We'll be getting to PyLon here for game number 2. Once again, one of the smaller maps in the map pool, much smaller map, but shorter rush distance by ground. You can be more aggressive here. We already saw 3x Reaper out of Teardrop. I'm curious what else he brings to the table. If he tries to play standard and straight up against GuMiho, or if he once again goes for a bit of a more quirky build. Let's go. As this morning in the top left-hand corner of PyLon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran leading the series 1-0, and we'll see if he can claim it here and now. For SATUL Esports, it is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Terran player, the American Terran representing Formless Bearsloss. It is Teardrop. Again, he had a cheeky build in game 1, going for the 3x Reaper. This time, oh, okay, gonna be hiding his first racks. Now, this I don't know if I'm really too fond of the idea in this matchup. I like this against Protoss in TVP. The reason why I'm not too fond of this in TVT is, if you know anything about Korean TVT especially, SCV scouts are very rare. they're very rare. If you notice, GuMiho did not even SCV scout in game 1. So we have a double gas opener into a faster factory, into a delayed CC, and I don't imagine that GuMiho will SCV scout. So trying to fake out a proxy and trying to fake an all-in like this in TVT, I don't think is as effective, just because SCV scouts are a little bit rarer. So now we're getting to our initial builds. Teardrop does go double gas, so he should be going for a mirrored build here, should be going for a factory as well. So GuMiho, just like last game, is going reactor first. So reactor followed by the factory, followed by the eventual command center. Likewise, factory on the way for Teardrop as well. And again, no SCV scout from GuMiho. Again, the SCV scouts are just very rare. They're quite rare here in TVT. Just settling in. So we have Reacted Reaper on the way. With this, the first Reaper here will be able to get a little bit of momentum here. We'll delay the CC. Does delay by a second. Could even kill the SCV as well. Not bad. Yeah, greater delay here for GuMiho. But he wants the Reaper. Yeah, he does want him. And he's going to get him as well. Yeah, he does shoot first. Takes out the initial Reaper. Brutal pickoff. And GuMiho does gain momentum. Behind this, he's waiting for his next wave of Reapers and he can push. And Teardrop, he is in danger here. He had to float his ranks, so that delays the add-on even further. Do we have any units to defend? We have one Reaper. It's across the map. There's nothing. Oh god, there's nothing here. There's nothing at home. The SCV is going to go down. CC is heavily delayed. As he busts into the main base, disrupting the production, Cyclone just now pops out, and Cyclone will defend. As GuMiho, he does clean up back at home. Teardrop, he's holding on with that Cyclone. GuMiho pulls away, still reinforcing. If the Cyclone's going to be on its own, then GuMiho, he might be able to go for the dive. It's going to be close. He might be able to break the Cyclone. Yeah, speaking of, he's going for it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 volleys. Oh, he's so close. He does take down the Cyclone, but a second one does arrive just in time, and with that, Teardrop holds. Whew, Teardrop, he does hold on. He will defend. Did cost him a Cyclone, did cost him 2 more SCVs, but Teardrop will survive. Meanwhile, GuMiho is known for his mech in TVT. We were working towards mech in game number 1. We might be able to get there here in game 2. Now, early medevac, early tank, early drop. GuMiho still being very aggressive, very assertive. As GuMiho is moving in. Does spot the tank. And shouldn't be able to break this. Oh, speaking of, it does take a tank shot to the face. Is within range of the gas geyser. Tank is repositioning. We'll siege up in time. Yeah, tank shots going off, and Teardrop, he will shut this down. Very nice. Yeah, nice cleanup. Shuts down the tank. Teardrop does defend. And now he does take a tank lead. Okay. A solid fight here from Teardrop. And GuMiho, a bit of miscontrol. Unfortunately, just had no vision. Didn't see the tank. As GuMiho is not stopping. we could go end up in a weird base trade. Teardrop, he sends everything across the map. At the same time, GuMiho dropping into the main. Liberate the natural and drop into said main base. Going for the production. And here comes Teardrop. We're going for the base trade, but this is tank back at home. Yeah, tank is ready. Teardrop, he can't disable, he can, and he will. Disable the tanks. Boys are being pulled. Tank will go down. GuMiho trying to hold on. And the tank falls. the same time, SCVs are also falling in the main. Boys being pulled in. There's gonna be a lot of dead SCVs. Yeah, 15 workers falling. At the same time, though, denies the natural. Does deny the natural. Takes down 4 workers. We're getting a little bit chaotic here. We're getting messy. True. GuMiho does focus down another 2 SCVs. Just another 1. 20 in total. Teardrop, he does turn back around. And on the one hand, Teardrop, he has 2 bases, but he's down to 27 SCVs. GuMiho with a massive worker lead. He saved his workers, saved his SCVs. Going back to mining, he saved the command center as well. And GuMiho's in a much better position here. Greater economy. Is lacking an army, true. That's where he is lacking. He's down in tanks, down in ravens. But now he's got a second factory. He can make 2 tanks at a time, he can catch up. Can catch up. Now, there's potentially a window here where Teardrop can try to break at GuMiho before it can reestablish his tank count. The problem, though, with the Vikings, if the Ravens can get past, if they can disable the tanks, then Teardrop, he can take over the natural again. He can do it again. Oh, and he gets 1. He gets 2. Not bad. Gets both disables. Tanks are moving in. Gets a break here and now. Boys are being pulled, and tank boys, they do focus on the first tank. The second tank as well. But the boys, yeah, they get a full surround. They get a full surround. Vikings are landing as well. And Teardrop, he gets cleaned up. He does get 9 SCV kills, but GuMiho still has a worker lead. Still has the advantage. Ay. And remember, he's getting into mech. 3rd CC's on the way, more tanks. Now getting into mech for accelerators. Going into battle mech. Battle mech is on the way. Oh. Threatens to drop. Goes for another tank. And we'll get it. And Teardrop is just getting pulled apart here. Losing even more SCVs. That's going to be 4 SCVs going down. Catching a medevac. Here he backs off again, claiming a better economy. The longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for GuMiho. Right now, there's a lot of pressure on Teardrop. And he does have stim. There is potentially an opening here. There is a bit of an opening, but he's looking for a way in. GuMiho getting a 4th CC. Teardrop, he can maybe find a way into the natural or drop into the main. There's only 1 medevac. Never mind. Just the 1 medevac. GuMiho takes out a tank. Black Bear's Planetary about to finish. Has a drop. The drop is spotted. And GG gets called. GG gets called. GuMiho is just all over this. And GuMiho, he will claim the series 2-0. He'll advance on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, GuMiho. He will claim the series, but a shout out to Teardrop for, again, especially here in game 2. Like, game 2 was very intense. I mean, hey, we ended up in a pseudo base trade where he wasn't quite able to do enough damage, but he was able to make a game out of this and make GuMiho sweat a little bit, I'm sure. So, GG well played with that. Congratulations. GuMiho will advance on into the next round where he has his next opponent ready and waiting for him. It's going to be a TVP between GuMiho and Astrea. Let's go. Let us go. As we are settling into this, and we're going to be following our players into that next round. Meanwhile, let's catch up on the bracket. Let's catch up on the bracket. Here we go! Exclamation mark! Be in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. As we switch things over, and looks like we saw some updates here. Looks like MaxPax and Geralt are still mid-series, still ongoing. Again, Astrea has been patiently waiting for quite some time. Meanwhile, in the lower bracket, I believe we did have some updates here. There it is. Yang Yakov takes down Creator 2-1. He's facing off against Solar in the next round. Likewise, sOs takes down Shameless up against ByuN in the quarterfinals as well. So all the quarterfinals matches, they're all beginning. Let's go. They have all begun. They're all taking place. Go. Just messaging some players. We'll let them know. Yeah. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break, so take this moment to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and we'll see you soon in a couple of minutes with Astrea versus GuMiho. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the PiGosaur Cup number 39. Welcome back to the quarterfinals, as we have been following GuMiho throughout the course of the initial previous series. Now into the quarterfinals, we have a TVP. Let's go. We're spawning in the bottom right corner of ley lines. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing SA2L Esports. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the American Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing himself, currently teamless. It is Astrea. Not on formless spare slots, my apologies. I will get on that. But here we go, we're jumping into our fresh best of 3, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our TVP, and this is going to be a rematch. Astrea, he has been on a tear as of late. His TVP has been insane, especially his late game, Terran versus Protoss. He took down ByuN, he took down GuMiho, he took down Clem as well. He has taken down some big Terran names here over the past couple of weeks, specifically showcasing his more defensive play and his late game as well. And what I will say about Astrea's late game TVP is maps play a big part. If we get there, like they play a very big part when it comes to which bases are exposed, which bases you can punish, which bases you can deny, and which bases you can establish early on as well. I will say that Ley Alliance is going to be favoring Astrea if he can get to that point. If he can end up with a maxed out army, if he can cut the map in half, it can be very difficult for the Terran player to maintain certain bases. I'm referring to the fringe bases, I'm also referring to the center expansion as well. We'll get there, of course, we'll get there. But again, if you haven't seen Astrea over the past month, maybe 2 months at this point, his play has been, it's been disgusting. Of course, Astrea, he did spend the beginning of the year at the Shopify HQ. He was, of course, practicing and training with Lambert, with Harsam, with ByuN, with the other Shopify players as well, with Scarlet, I believe. And of course, did improve in that time. And yeah, it's been quite an interesting development here from Astrea. Now, what I will say is that, again, this was over the past couple of weeks. We'll see if he is able to showcase that here again. We'll see if GuMiho has a better response. I will say that Clem was looking the most impressive against Astrea. Clem, he did have a very nuke-heavy style that was very effective against Astrea. So I will say that there's a lot of potential there, and there's maybe some avenues that have yet to be explored by the rest of the Terran scene and the Terran community. So Clem, he was able to kind of pioneer that and show that off in the late game. It was really impressive to see. But again, like, this is still a really brutal map for that. For now, Twilight Council opener out of Astrea. Does open Twilight Council. Astrea does poke in. So far, he does bypass the main army. Marines, they race across the map. SCV's going to be going down. Not bad. He gets one. He gets, two. Two SCVs going to be falling. There's a recall back home just in time. Marines, they have arrived, but there are Stalkers. There are now Stalkers standing in his way. And Astrea, he will hold on. He's walling up. Blink is on the way. And GuMiho pulls back. So far, a better start here for Astrea. GuMiho rotating towards the right-hand side. Stalkers not quite in position. Okay, there's an opening. There's an opening here. There was, but Astrea, he's ready to wall up. Oh, it does wall off. It does wall off in time. Stalkers, they zone away the Hellions. Nice defense here from Astrea. GuMiho ready for the drop. Again, GuMiho is not done. Not yet. Pushing towards the right hand side. So Woodmines towards the right. So we have Hellions here in the center. Drop does come in. And Astrea, he does notice. Does pull away. Thankfully, does pull away in time. Dropping towards the main. Astrea, he will deflect. And he will shut this down. Oof, oh my god. Yeah, shuts down the medevac. The mine shot does go off. Does catch a Stalker. Not bad. Gets a Stalker. From here, Astrea, he does break out. Behind this, going for the bay. Interesting. So it's going to be 3-gate blink into a third base, into a bay, into Colossus production, not rushing into Storm. So not rushing towards Storm, going for Colossus instead. Likewise, back at home, GuMiho also building up. Stim has begun. He has built up an early tank out. He can try to go for an earlier push. Oh. You can go for a ByuN move out. As Hellions, they slip on by. 2 Hellions, they can 2-shot probes. First volley goes up, gets 1 probe so far. Gets up to 4. Yeah, they're lining up. They are lining up. 5 worker kills, 6 probes towards the end. Very nice damage here by GuMiho. Very nice. Did I say 6? Getting up to 9. Oh my god, no reaction. Yeah, late reaction here by Astrea. 10 probes going down. Brutal losses. And despite the early game aggression being shut down, GuMiho, he bounces back from that. Does make up for it. 10 probe kills. Here comes the initial move out. As we did mention, Stim is not yet done. These are vanilla Marines. But Stim will finish up by the time the army gets across the map. Again, very committed here from GuMiho. More probes going down. Once again, Astrea is distracted. Another 4 probes. This is getting out of hand. That's going to be 16 probe kills. Insane damage. Astrea trying to be proactive. Catching out a lot of Marines. Nice force field. Very nice. Blinks on forward. Takes down one of the tanks. Again, Astrea controlling his army well. It's just the harass, right? The harassment has been just tearing him apart. Colossus moves in. Observer does get eyes on the main army. He does see the tank is sieged. Astrea, he does spot this. Going for the Zealot run by. Again, Astrea, he's behind. The pressure is on. He may even force a cancel. Oh, I mean, that would be the ideal. He will delay. If he can force a cancel, then he can recover in this game. As more probes are going down, 3 more workers. GuMiho does respond. Yeah, CC will be saved. Catching up the Zealots. Now he's moving in. Astrea, he does not have high ground vision. It's going to be 20 worker kills in total already. Astrea does spot the tanks. He's aware. Behind is coming a 4th base. Astrea trying to recover. Again, he should not be pushing up this ramp. But if the army unsieges, Astrea can respond. Ooh, as he does spot the move out. Scan. Nicely done. Likewise, sniping a sentry as well. Astrea pulling away. Again, Astrea just trying to buy some time. Here comes the unsiege. GuMiho, he rotates, he gets spotted. Astrea racing back home. Let's head towards the 4th. Not going to be an easy hold. It's not going to be easy here. Nice force fields. Catching out a couple of Marauders. 2-3 Marauders going down. Tanks are moving in. Astrea, he has to respect it. He has to back off. Does cap back again. The force fields do buy some time. At the same time, Zealot run back across the map. Getting 5 SCVs, not bad. Disruptor has arrived as well. And show us that Nova. Nova goes up. Gets a couple of Marines. Nothing major yet. Raven moving back in. Does force some defensive warp in. Oh! As Raven does barely get away. Or at least attempts to. Nice interception. Finally takes down the Raven, but the damage has been done. Again, 20 worker kills, as we mentioned earlier. But Astrea holds. Astrea, he defends. He saves his 4th base, now taking a 5th base as well. Astrea, he hasn't recovered yet, but he's on the road to recovery. He's looking to stabilize. But again, the economy is what's killing him here. He's just now saturating his own 4th. Likewise, because of late 4th base, that means late 2nd robo, that means late disruptor production. So everything is delayed here for Astrea. And GuMiho does have momentum. Astrea breaks out. Does break out. Once again, I don't really see Astrea pushing up this ramp into these tanks. But ideally, he wants to try to catch out the army. And he has some good vision. Spotted pylons, observers, and zealots as well. Speaking of, one of the observers does get caught. More Vikings are amassing. Astrea still needs a little bit more time for the 2nd robo. It's just not finishing. Building up more disruptors. And again, Astrea's goal here is to slow the game down. That's where he thrives. It's not to try to end the game. It's not to try to break the expansion. Slow the game down, max out, and start to embrace Sky Toss. Now going for the gateway explosion. Yo, I see Astrea007 in the chat. Gah, baby, yeah. Good to see you. Astrea007. Straight, he rotates. Getting ready for a Zealot run by. Oh. Nice catch. Zealot do join with the main army. Both armies are maxed out. Now would be the time for Astrea to tech and start working towards a fleet beacon, Stargate, and Skytoss upgrades. But now going for the Temple Archives, working towards Storm. Okay. At least is taking. Is taking up, likewise diving on the main army. Vikings are gonna they go to town. Yeah, Colossus is gonna be falling. Zell taking away from behind. And the Novas, they will kill. Oh my god. Brutal connections. And Astrea, he breaks through. He breaks through. Insane connections there with the Disruptor. Reinforcements have arrived. A planetary is done. Astrea, he has to back off. He has to back off. He has to get the hell out of here. It was a good fight, but not enough to break through. Not enough to break the fourth. Again, he had a crazy surround. He had a nice Nova. But the Disruptor count, sorry, the Colossus count was reset. So rebuilding his Colossus. Taking another expansion. Likewise, GuMiho taking up. +1 ship weapons on the way. Fusion Core did just finish, working towards Liberators. It's getting to those Liberators. Astrea setting up. Oh, doesn't quite connect. Zelsa moving from behind, but again, there was only one Disruptor. Yeah, a little bit wasteful here from Astrea, throwing away so many Zealots. That's 21, geez. 21 Zealots for 3 Marines. That was not quite worth it. Astrea, he pulls away. Catching out some army. Never goes off. Very nice connection. Catching out a good chunk of Marauders. Astrea, he makes up for the earlier fight. Third Robo's on the way. Again, sticking still very much ground heavy. Zelsa do sit by. Getting into the bases. Likewise pushing forward, but Alasa Planetary does stand strong. There's not enough here. And Zelsa do get into the mineral line, not bad. SCVs are going down. Does catch a couple of SCVs, does spot the Mass Liberator. Astrea getting 15 SCV kills. And he's going for the expansion. Ooh. We had some okay splits. Novas are still connecting. Astrea, he backs off. We have 12 High Templar morphing in. Storm is not done. We're going actually into Mass Archon. Okay. I mean, there are no ghosts, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm sorry, there are 4. Okay. There are some EMPs. A couple of ghosts are available. Now that we're reaching this level of Liberator counts, we should be... I mean, I was critical earlier about taking up into Skytoss, and we still don't quite see a Fleet Beacon or a Stargate. Double Prism into the main. Nova's a crazy army. No major connections yet. As Astrea does cause a distraction. Double Prism does get in. Astrea, he's maxed. he cannot warp. He has to trade. Very nice connection. Able to afford a couple of extra warp ins. Yeah, 6,000 total, nothing major. Another Nova going up. But yeah, just a bit of an awkward job here just because he didn't have the supply to warp in. He had the money, he had the warp ins, but no free supply. He's pushing through. Takes on Liberator. Storm is being researched. Astrea still sticking here to his ground army. Rotating over. Keeping up with GuMiho. And GuMiho, he's in danger here. He's going to lose everything. Yeah, there's no escaping this. The Medivacs, they go down. The Vikings as well. GuMiho coming in from behind. Who catches who? That's how those Novas. They're going to be going up. Brutal connections. And Novas do connect, but where the Zealots though? Yeah, not enough charge lots. Yeah, back and forth fight. But Astrea has the economy. Astrea, he has all these bases. He has a bank to work with, or at least somewhat of a bank. Did lose all the disruptors though. The robot army was reset. But now here we go. 3 Colossus at a time. Storm is now done. And we do have High Templar. Now, because of how Marauder heavy this is, Storm isn't going to be as effective, but it's going to help nonetheless. Yeah, diving the army. Here comes the Storm. And then we're going for feedbacks instead. And the Planetary goes down. GuMiho just pulling, sorry, Astrea just pulling GuMiho apart. Takes down the expansion. GuMiho moving in. There should be a recall. Does go for the EMPs though. Does EMP Astrea? What's the plan? Where are we headed? GuMiho, he gets one. He's getting 2 bases. Astrea trying to respond. Just try to gets an okay storm off. Does force a pickup. Astrea moving in, but their Liberators backing him to defend. Oof. High Templar goes down. GuMiho holds. He does hold on. Astrea just unable to push in. He lost 2 bases. He's triple expanding. I mean, this is still anyone's game. GuMiho does have a super maxed army. And once again, Astrea is just completely out of position here. He misses the rotation. We'll lose another expansion. So the run by won't do much. Astrea pushing up a ramp into the army. And the concave is brutal. And GuMiho is getting out of hand here. He's going for more bases. Getting another expansion, getting us all the robos. Storms, they are somewhat connecting. We get some decent storms to the right hand side. Another run by doesn't achieve much. GuMiho stimming in, going for another base. Getting another robo. That's what the 3rd robo going down. And again, this push just has gone so out of hand here. Astrea, he can't engage. Oh no, Colossus! They do stand strong. They're okay. Does survive, but GuMiho is just rallying out towards another base, another expansion. More planetaries, sorry, more nexus is going to be falling. More bases going down. Does try to recall. And does barely recall in time. Okay. Does recall, job now moving back in. Astrea down to 31 probes. Again, barely an economy. I can say the same for GuMiho. True. Neither player really has an ideal economy or ideal setup. Astrea catching reinforcements. Storm's coming in. Oh my god, speaking of. Yeah, he gets a full medevac. GG gets called. GuMiho, he runs out of steam. No bases, no army, and GuMiho, he taps out. Astrea, he does take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. A very intense game here. Again, GuMiho with his final push, of course, he was able to overwhelm. He took down base after base after base. Took down, what was it, 4 or 5 Nexi? It was crazy just how many bases he was able to snipe. But at the same time, he was also all in himself, right? He only had 41 SCVs. He only really had 1.5 base mining towards the end. Not quite enough here to maintain himself. He bled out a lot of units, and in the end, GuMiho, he was broken. GG. GG will play Astrea. He persevered, and Astrea takes a lead. And here we go. We're now getting into our next game. Going to be loading into Persephone. Let's go. Let us go. Show me the game too, just catching up with the chats. Astrea should have done the medevac pool of Marauders. He did. He did. We did point that out. As we're getting into game number 2. Whew, and again, a very intense back and forth here. Astrea not going for his typical, more like turtley style. I mean, we saw GuMiho being very aggressive and very assertive. I'm pretty sure a big part of this is because, again, GuMiho did lose during the EWC global qualifiers to Astrea with that more slower, methodical approach. So this time we see GuMiho switching up gears here, being hyper aggressive, but for the most part, Astrea was able to keep up. I say for the most part, winding it back. Remember, the game started with GuMiho killing 20 probes. Like GuMiho, he was pulling Astrea apart, dealing critical damage with the Raven Harass, with the drop play as well. It was incredible damage there from GuMiho, but Astrea, he recovered. He was able to slow the game down, able to gain map control, contain his opponent, take some better fights. The Novas were crazy, especially in the mid game, and Astrea, he got back into it. Impressive play there. But now we're getting to game number 2 and spawning in the top left hand corner of Persephone. We have the American Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss. It's all in the series 1-0. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, we have the red Terran representing SHUL Esports. It is GuMiho. Here we go. As we are loading into Persephone, Persephone is, I would say, one of the smaller maps in the map pool, but also very much so prone to cutting the map in half and getting into a longer and later game. Unlike some of these other maps, I would say that it's more difficult to take the fringe bases away from your opponent just because they're so isolated and they're so close to the other bases here of your opponent, I should say. Likewise, we have this massive area in between all these bases as well, so it is very often that we do see, if the game goes on long enough, we see a split map scenario here where players are typically fighting for the gold more than anything, for that gold expansion. For now though, Rax expand, we do have a economic opener out of GuMiho, likewise gate expand out of Astrea. Here we go. So here we are going to be settling in. As for now, it does get into the mineral line. We'll dip in for the scouts, and we do have a much more unique opener here out of Astrea. What do we see? Robo opener instead of Twilight Council or Stargate. Not unheard of, but a bit of a rarer sight. I would say that Robo openers are typically a little bit of a safer way to play, but that's a massive gateway explosion early on. We have 3 gates alongside this. Astrea, he has the option to open up Prism, to rush across the map early, and to be hyper aggressive to punish the greed of GuMiho. GuMiho, he has seen not much. He saw 1 gate. He saw 1 gateway. He failed to see the tech of choice, and Astrea doing a great job at just zoning away the Reaper and denying vision and denying scouting. This is scary. This is a scary moment for GuMiho. As Astrea, he will soon push. There it is. Yep, Prism first. He's rushing across the map. So early game aggression here from Astrea. And GuMiho has no idea. He has no idea what's coming his way. Not yet. Now, he does keep the Reaper alive. True. This is important. If the Reaper had been sniped, that would have been brutal. But it does stay alive. So he's once again rotating. And Astrea is still searching for the Reaper. You can see he's patrolling. And Astrea, he barely does miss the Reaper. Reaper does try to slip in. It's spotted. Yeah, Reaper does get spotted. Prism moves out. Reaper is zoned away, and GuMiho, he doesn't see the prism, he doesn't see the base, he doesn't see the gateways. Back at home, there's one mine to defend. We can see that GuMiho is about to go for his own mine drop as well, which means he has that much less to hold on. He has that much less back at home, and Astrea is going for the kill. He's going for the kill. Oh boy, the mine drop can get some counter damage, but not much. Just gonna be one shot. Speaking of, ooh, nice control, saves the Stalker. Very nice force field. He locks down the SCVs, and there's no way out of this. Yeah, the SCVs are all going to go down. This is already critical damage. SCVs are falling. A mine drop into the main. Up! Ooh, getting one probe. Just the one. Yeah, one probe goes down. A Reaper into the natural mineral line, getting more probes. But he could even just kill the CC. Oh god. That's going to be a kill. CC goes down. A brutal damage. And GuMiho is stuck on one base. He's stuck on a one base economy. Another force field. Marines are trickling out. Oh. Astrea has to get out of here. He has to get out. As he spots the army. Picks off a Marine. Stim is almost done. And Astrea, he has to pull away. Picks off a couple of SCVs. Back at home, Astrea, he's supply blocked. Uh-oh, he's panicking a little bit here. Making some mistakes. Again, Astrea, he has a lead. He's forcing the all-in. But can he survive? Up! That's one Stalker goes down. Does catch a Stalker. Astrea racing back home. Does race back. Remember, there's no base. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing here. A couple of voids are being pulled. It's all or nothing out of GuMiho. Shield batteries are on the way. There's no charge. There's no Twilight Council, of course. Yeah, there's no council. GuMiho, we can still end the game with this. But again, it's all or nothing. It's here and now. Coming in. Yeah, the army is spotted. Astrea trying to engage. Does pick up a good amount of Marines. They try to stim, but yeah, the Marines are falling. Astrea, he holds. He holds the shield batteries. They come into play. And Astrea, he will completely shut this down. Completely. Ay. And I'll be honest, I was getting ready for a long game, by the way. I was getting ready to get strapped in. But no shot. Not here. Not this time. And again, we had Astrea being the aggressor instead. And again, even though he was unable to snipe the Reaper, he did deny vision. He denied vision, denied scouting. GuMiho, he had no idea what was going on. Here we go. All the boys are being pulled. Again, it's all or nothing. There's no way to macro out of this. Not anymore. One Hail Mary play. Oh. Catching out a Stalker. The boys have arrived. Remember, there's no blink, there's no shield battery, but there is War Prism Micro. Despite that, that's still 4 tanks. Yeah, the tank count is high. Nice spread here from Astrea. The boys are being pulled. They're diving on top of the tanks. And he does focus them down. Getting 1, 2 tanks already. Getting the 3rd tank and the 4th. And with that, yeah, there's nothing left. So with that, Astrea, he has done it. He shuts down the entire army, shuts down the economy as well. GG gets called, and Astrea, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Astrea. He does it again. Again, he was able to bring down GuMiho during the EWC qualifiers. And he takes him down here as well during the PiGosaur Cup weekly as well. I will say this was a very different series. Again, we saw a much more aggressive style out of GuMiho in game 1. And to kind of counterbalance that, we had a much more aggressive style out of Astrea in game 2. Like a very aggressive style going for the Robo into Prism with a 3-gate setup, just hyper aggression out of Astrea, snowballed out of control. Again, he went completely unscouted, and GuMiho couldn't stop him, could not keep up. Was cool with his pants down. The pants were down, baby, the pants were down. GG, well played. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations here to Astrea, and let's see if he has an opponent. Let's go. Exclamation mark be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves, as the quarterfinals has no updates. Oh boy. Wait, no, there we go. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Bam. Okay, so we have our semifinals. From the top, we have MaxPax. MaxPax takes down Geralt 2-0. Astrea takes down GuMiho 2-0. We have the upper semifinals. Going to be a PvP between Astrea and MaxPax. Scrolling down, we have ByuN. ByuN takes down sOs 2-0. We have Solar taking down Young Yakov, and we have ByuN versus Solar in a TVZ. We have our top 4, and we are nearing the end of the broadcast. Up next on the channel, we're going to be following Astrea into MaxPax, and then we'll follow that series into the finals, into those grand finals. That's going to be up next here on the channel, up next on the CranKy Ducklings. Let's go. Until then, we're going to be going on a short break, so take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. When we come back, we'll have those semis ready for you. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals or semifinales of the PiGosaur Cup. We are here, we are back, and we are jumping into our PvP and spawning in the bottom hand corner of Ultra Love. We have the Danish Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the American Protoss. It is Astrea. Oh, and here we go. We're jumping right on into our PvP on Ultra Love. Do we end up in a Phoenix War? We're about to find out. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our PvP. And a big shout out in the chat to Luna C. Papiga, annyeong haseyo. Papi, annyeong haseyo. Good to see you. Good to see you, Papi. And I hope you had a great time in Krefeld. Hope you had a great time in Germany. Of course, Luna C, I believe, was able to compete in the first time at Home Story Cup. So I hope you had a great time. Good to see you back, man. Good to see you back. Bienvenidos. As we are opening up with economic openers. Now, again, welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is a unique map. Ultra Love has a ramp coming into the natural, and this does mean that it's more viable to go for a gate into a Cybercore into Nexus, so both players are trying to be as greedy as possible. Likewise, both players are blocking each other and stopping those expansions and ideally forcing out a Zealot. So again, we're coming in with a pylon block. MaxPax in position. Astrea does dip into the main base. There we go. Zealots on the way for MaxPax. Zealots on the way for Astrea as well. And again, you're forcing out these Zealots to deal with the pylon to eventually expand. And because of the delays, because of the pylon block, typically it means, oh, as Astrea, he will get the Nexus. Yeah, he will get it. There it is. Nexus is thrown down. He cancels the Zealot. Astrea does cut some corners. Astrea, he gets away with earlier green. Meanwhile, Stargate. Yeah, Stargate here from MaxPax, and Astrea, we'll see if he responds with a Stargate of his own. He should. There we go. Stargate versus Stargate. Phoenix Wars, they have begun. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Biddy Fordmis in the chat. God, there we go. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first time with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCats. Bienvenidos, papi. Bienvenidos. And again, Phoenix Wars have begun. The reason why we called Phoenix Wars at the start of the game is just because of the map. Like Ultra Love, because of the ramp coming into the natural, this setup is very common, and mirrored builds are very common on this map. So Phoenix Wars they're just common on Ultra Love. Very common. So we should be starting, and we should not be stopping Phoenix production. Now, there are ways to try to deviate away from this, but there it is. A very fast second Stargate from Astrea. Adept does poke in. Adept does confirm the timing of the Stargate. And MaxPax, he knows. He knows, he's aware. For now, he's going to be focusing on that pylon. Phoenix has arrived. And we'll see if MaxPax can pop off here. I mean, so far the pylon's getting quite low. Astrea pulling back. It does pull back. He refuses to make an initial adept. Does refuse. As he does have a full wall up here at the natural. Second Stargate here from MaxPax. And again, we're just amassing Phoenixes. We are massing up those Phoenixes. Now, when it comes to Phoenix Wars, there are some certain power spikes available here. First things first, Astrea, he does have a faster second Stargate. He has faster Phoenix production, and Astrea, he will have a slight lead when it comes to Phoenixes. So already, Astrea, he's going to be in a better position. Despite that, you can still try to outposition your opponent. If MaxPax is able to get in between the production and the Phoenixes and catch reinforcing Phoenixes, that's going to be a big moment here for either player, either MaxPax or Astrea. Likewise, stacking is crucial. Stacking is so crucial. Oh no! Ooh, and we do see that the first Phoenix is going to be going down. Astrea, he will lose one. Trades 1-1 though. Does trade. And Astrea, he will take this fight. He will take it. Once again, he does trade, and he will overwhelm the Phoenixes. He has the higher count. And from here, Astrea, he can try to snowball out of control. He's down to 2 Phoenixes. At the same time, MaxPax, he has to build up back at home. Better fight for Astrea. But production's underway. Astrea camping the production. Unfortunately, camping the wrong Stargate. And Astrea has to get the hell out of here. He has to pull away. Yeah, he should not be here. Does pull back, but here comes a reinforcing Phoenix. 3 versus 3. The Phoenix count is slightly in favor of Astrea. He has more reinforcements on the way. Moving in once again. Goes to the mineral line. He does stack. Yeah, very nice positioning here. MaxPax, he's being shot down. He just cannot engage. Again, the earlier fight was huge for Astrea. And now he's racing back. He's racing back home to deal with this army. Does catch the Adepts and the Zealots. MaxPax, he cannot move in. Again, MaxPax perpetually just behind 2 Phoenixes, which is huge. And once again, as we mentioned, there are ways to recover, like getting in between the production, in between the army. Catching your opponent unstacked. Oh. As the army is spotted. Astrea, he has to calm down. Like again, Astrea, he has a lead, but it's not the greatest lead here. Not the biggest one. So he still has to respect MaxPax. I do like this sentry. With the sentry, you can get a Guardian Shield. That will help. Fleet beacons on the way, working towards Phoenix range. So there's going to be a big power spike here with Phoenix range. That does ensure that Astrea will have the first shot. He'll have the first volley. If he can get there. Likewise, Astrea, he has a faster third base. He recalls over to saturate. So Astrea, he has a better economy. Astrea getting further ahead. Soon he can afford a 3rd Stargate. Meanwhile, MaxPax moving in. Again, he does have that sentry. He does have that Guardian Shield. He's still down 3 Phoenixes. Army gets spotted. Astrea, he does see the sentry. Oh, he's getting caught out. Has to be careful. Does stack. Yeah, there's the Guardian Shield. And Astrea, he has to respect it. He has to back up. He's getting caught out. He does lose his lead. And no, he's not sacked. Yeah, he's not sacked either. Brutal fight there for Astrea. MaxPax, he takes the lead. He takes the advantage. He takes out the mineral line as well. Once again, just bullying back Astrea. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Astrea, he had such a good start. He's actually still taking the fight. Okay, better reinforcements, better defense advantage. And Astrea, he will take it. There we go. He will shut down the army. GG gets called as MaxPax, he fights without his sentry. And Astrea, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG, a very, very intense game here. Again, Astrea, he had a lead from almost the beginning of the game. He was able to get a faster Nexus. He was able to get a faster 2nd Stargate, faster Phoenixes, took a better fight early on. Despite that, we had a really impressive comeback out of MaxPax with that sentry with the Guardian Shield. Remember, he was bullying back Astrea, but he chased Astrea. He chased him outside of the range of his own sentry. He chased him into range of the production line, of the reinforcements, and MaxPax here extended. Here extended, he lost too much. With that, GG well played, Astrea takes a lead. And now we're jumping into game 2. We're jumping into game 2, and we'll see if Astrea can claim the series here and now, or if MaxPax can recover. As we're loading into PyLon. I see Romas asking in the chats, is this on real live pro games? Is this pro finals? Semifinals. Semifinals. The finals is after this, if you're curious. Finals after this series. Beautiful. But the players are getting ready. We're jumping into game number 2. But again, it's just a really intense game here. And game 2 is going to be on Pylon. So getting into the maps once again, Pylon does not have a ramp coming into natural, so there's less of a chance for us to embrace Phoenix Wars. What I will say is the rush distance by ground is really short on this map, so all-ins are favored. So we're expecting something aggressive. I say we're expecting something aggressive. This does also give the opportunity for Astrea to try to blindside his opponent and fake out an all-in as well. So he could try to fake an all-in and try to force an overreaction and try to get ahead that way. Like, this is where mind games come into play. Mind games are a big part of PvP as well. Is it a real proxy? Is it a fake proxy? Is it a real all-in? Is it a fake all-in? It's going to be up to MaxPax to determine what's going on. Assuming that Astrea tries to mind game him. But let's go. Let us jump into game number 2. And And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover. Representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the American Protoss leading the series 1-0. It is Astrea. Here we go. Astrea does have that lead, this time setting up on the high ground. And we'll keep an eye on the openers here. We'll see if Astrea goes for a 2-gate opener, if he goes for a gate cyber expand, or even gate expand. We have seen players out-greed MaxPax, true. We have seen that. We even saw that last game, to be fair. The ball is in Astrea's court. Where will you take us? As for now, he is setting up on the low ground. Looks like he may even think about going for the faster Nexus. For now, he's keeping the probe hidden. Yeah, MaxPax dips in. Probe likewise comes over behind, and yep, Astrea's going for it. Does get the Nexus. So very greedy build here from Astrea. Gate expand. This is even greedier than what MaxPax has himself. So Astrea, he will have the economic lead. He will have the economic advantage. Again, this is something that players like Astrea, Hero, they do enjoy doing here against MaxPax. And they're forcing MaxPax, they're forcing a response out of him. They're forcing a reaction. Going for the Cybercore first, MaxPax, he's going for the Stargate. Yep, Stargate before Nexus, into an Oracle, into Oracle Harass. Oh, not just that. Hello. Does he turn this into a one-base all-in? Or is this just a pylon to reinforce? So Astrea, he pokes in, he does scout the Stargate, he's aware of the Oracle. He's aware of what's going on. Pylon is done. One base. Let's go. One base all in out of MaxPax. This is what I want. He's going for the one base all in. Astrea, he's scouting on the right hand side. He will spot the probe. He will spot the probe. He will chase it. And really chase it further. MaxPax just lure him away. It does lure him away, but now we're scouting. Yeah, Astrea, he's scouting, he's checking. Ay, ay, ay. And Astrea, he will confirm the proxy rover. He gets eyes on the one base all in. Also, wait, am I crazy? So, in my brain, I thought this was a Stargate. Sorry, that was a gateway. my apologies. Yeah, I was locked in. I was not locked in enough. So one base all in my brain, again, that was a Stargate. So my apologies here. So there was even more of a tell that something weird was going on. True, so that there was no fake out. And yeah, Astrea's getting ready. He's responding with his own second gateway. Shield barrier is being thrown down as well. He's got his own 3-gate setup. And this is a delayed one base all in from MaxPax. We'll see if he can pull it off. We'll see if Astrea can do his best MaxPax impression. But again, that's why Astrea was checking for a proxy, because he scouted a gateway, not a Stargate. So that's my bad. I assumed it was a Stargate. Different gateway. Prism has arrived. Immortal's on the way. Ooh, this does get supplied for a moment. Prism into the main. Shield barrier is halfway done. Astrea needs a little bit more time. So he does pull back. Nice control. Sentries, they take a lot of hits. They take a lot of damage, and one sentry does go down. Nice pickup. Gets one sentry. Every unit counts. Especially these sentries. At the same time, probe's going to be going down as well, getting 3 probe kills. Nice damage. 3 workers do fall. Immortal is out. And again, Astrea just is lacking firepower here. He has mainly sentry. And he's being pulled apart. He's being pulled apart. Force field on the ramp as well. Astrea completely out of position. Trying to go for the warp in. Denies the warp in as well. And MaxPax, he has control of the main. He has control of the main base. Here comes on the force field. The boys are being pulled. Astrea getting desperate. And again, despite the scout, the setup here was not good enough. He had too many shield barriers. He had 4 shield barriers here at the natural base. Ay, ay, ay. He was so underprepared in the main. And it's going to cost him every single probe. Yeah, the micro is on point. The shields, they get re-triggered. GG gets called, and MaxPax ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. We're going to the ace match. We do have a back and forth. Again, it was really good scouting out of Astrea to confirm what was happening, but again, his response was mass sentry. And unfortunately, he overcommitted to his natural. He had 4 shield barriers at the natural. He had only 1 shield barrier in the main. He did miss the rotation. He was out of position. And with that, GG. GG, well played. MaxPax, he busted into the main base. And with that, we have that back and forth. We're going to the ace match, and we'll see how our players do respond here. We'll see how we open up, as game 3 is going to be on ley lines. Okay, we're going to be loading into one of the more standard maps in the map pool. Oh, meanwhile, looks like the lower semis did conclude, and we have our first finalist, ByuN. ByuN takes down Solar 3-1. Oh, best of 5. Oh, my apologies. I assumed this was a best of 3, but my apologies here. It's a best of 5 at semifinals. So we're actually not going into the ace match. We actually have a longer series ahead of us. Okay. My apologies. I will rectify that. But yes, this is a best of 5. So now we're getting into game number 3. And again, the lower semi is already concluded. ByuN is waiting for a Protoss opponent, either one or the other, either MaxPax or Astrea. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Oh, we have the blue Protoss himself. We have the the Danish Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming, tying up the series 1-1. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player. We have the red Protoss being forced into a tied series. It is Astrea. Here we go. And again, as a reminder, this is a best of 5, not a best of 3, so it's going to be a bit of a longer series, a longer back and forth. Oh boy. And I'm hoping we can go the distance here. I'm hoping we can go all the way to game 5. Send it, baby, send it. As MaxPax does poke in, it is going to be a 2-gate opener out of Astrea. Prober does move out, and our eye is going to be on this worker here. We'll see if Astrea commits to an all-in or not. Likewise, MaxPax, ooh, going for a gate expand. MaxPax, he throws down the gauntlet here. This is the greediest build you can go for. This is the same opener that Astrea went for last game. Basically, MaxPax, he's saying, hey, I dare you to do what I just did. Okay. Can you catch me off guard? Can you pull off an all-in the same way that I did? Of course, Astrea, he now spots the Nexus, and he should respond with a proxy pylon. Yeah, there it is. The proxy is going to be on the way here in the center of the map, and Astrea is going for the 1-base all-in. Sniper core is done. Stalkers are on the way. Oh, never mind. I assumed that we were going to be throwing down the pipe. Okay, there we go. Astrea's like, nah, not close enough, baby, not close enough. Okay, fair enough. Throwing it down in the face of the natural at the entrance. Astrea pokes in, gets eyes on the Stargate. MaxPax, he is aware that the pylon is missing. Oh, actually, sorry, my apologies. That's the 3rd pylon instead. But MaxPax, you will see this. Yeah, he just encounters the proxy immediately as it was thrown down in his face. There's the gateway. MaxPax, he can respond with a Void Ray early on, not with an Oracle. So we should be seeing the early Void Ray. Going for the Oracle would be quite greedy here from MaxPax, so he might still go for it. Stargate is done. And the Void Ray is on the way. Yeah, he doesn't risk the Oracle. Does not risk it. Ooh, a bit of miscontrol there from Astrea. He does take some extra hits. As he's rallying out across the map. More Stalkers, more Sentries. He's going to have 3 gates at home and 1 across the map, so it's going to be a 1-base 4 gates all in. No blink. Just 4 gate. Vanilla gateway units. Meanwhile, we have 2 more shield barriers on the way, 3 in total. And because there's no robo, it means that MaxPax doesn't have to set up in the main, right? There's no wasted resources in the main base. which we would have seen if he hadn't seen the gateway. Meanwhile, he can 3-shot. It's gonna be close. He has the 4-shot instead. We'll lose 2 souls in the process. That was a big loss there for Astrea, but he might still have enough to overwhelm. Going for the Artosis pylon. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Sentry has arrived. A pylon will go down. Massive pickup. And the Void Ray is still in production, still on the way. Sentry pulls back, takes down the Adept, takes down the Robes. Nice force field, locks down the Stalker. And Astrea he doesn't. Yeah, Astrea he has done it at this point. He is overwhelming. Going for the Void Ray. Going for the pylons. Oh, as he does take down one of the shield batteries. Now going for the pylon itself. And he should just overwhelm. Like, he has plenty of Stalkers here. A couple of force fields will delay, will slow him down. But he's up to how many Stalkers? He's up to 10. Yeah, 10 Stalkers. There's no way out for the Void Ray. GG gets called. And Astrea, he will take a lead in the series at 2-1. GG. Again, MaxPax being so greedy here, rushing into a very early Nexus, a lot of greed, and he was punished for it. He did not get away with it. In the end, Astrea was able to break through, was able to overwhelm. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we're getting into game number 4. And I'm hoping that our players, they do stop rushing into the Nexus as quickly as they have. It's been very greedy from both Astrea and MaxPax. They both attempted, and they both got punished for it. Oh boy. Now we're getting to our next game. We're going to be loading into Persephone. Okay. Persephone is coming up next. As all the players are loading up. Here we go. And here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're going to be getting into game number 4 here. And we'll see. We'll see if we can make it all the way to the ace match. This morning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Snowstorm Gaming down in the series. We'll see if we can recover and force the ace match. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Protoss player, we have the red Protoss, leading the series 2-1 and 1 game away from advancing on to the grand finals. It is Astrea. Here we go. As we are once again sitting up on the high ground, and we'll see if Astrea goes for a 2-gate setup. We'll see if he goes for a faster Nexus. Our eyes are mainly on Astrea, as he's the one that typically will be deviating. So we are setting up. Pylon gets thrown down. 2-gate opener here out of Astrea. And I believe MaxPax will not be going for the faster Nexus. Not this time. There it is, gate into Cybercore. Into Stargate before expanding. So much more safer play here by MaxPax. Bearing in mind that one of the reasons why MaxPax had a harder time defending previously was just how many corners he was cutting. Cutting all the corners. Likewise, Astrea, he doesn't have to go into an all-in from here. Ooh, Sentry expand. Okay, he's skipping a second unit. He's going to be skipping. So Astrea, he will be expanding back at home. And you can see here he's banking on resources. He goes to the base, and the Nexus is thrown down. Likewise, same can be said for MaxPax as well. Both players do expand. MaxPax, he will throw in the Nexus before the Stargate. And it's going to be up to MaxPax to confirm, as currently he doesn't know. Hallucination's on the way. But we have like, not quite mirrored builds, but we have some close builds here between our two players. Close timings. And from here we can invest and get into the mid game. Twilight Council's on the way. Hallucination confirms the Nexus. MaxPax is now aware that the game will progress, and both players working towards Blink. Let's go. There's going to be a slightly earlier Blink timing for Astrea, but only by a couple of seconds, not the biggest of deals. It may come into play, but for the most part, we should just be settling in. Getting to a standard mid game. Oh boy. I don't think I've seen that at a MaxPax, I'll be honest. But I'm ready for it. Ooh, as MaxPax is also down the third gateway. Okay, so he's getting to his own 3-gate setup. We'll have more production than Astrea, at least for the time being. Astrea does poke out. MaxPax setting up a proxy pylon. He could throw down a 4th gateway and turn this into a 2-base all-in. He could go for a 4-gate 2-base all-in. As the pylon is almost done, Astrea, he is unaware. He doesn't know what's happening. He needs to scout. Seeing the 3rd gateway would be a tell. Now he's poking in. Yeah, 4th gate. Yeah, 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in out of MaxPax. Astrea setting up his own proxy location, but again, his gateway count is still much lower. And again, he doesn't know how much danger he's in. He needs to get into the main. He needs to figure out what's going on. He denies the scouts. Not as important, though, as he still does not check the main base. And he doesn't quite get eyes on the main army either. He's taking a 3rd. No! Astrea, he wants the macro. But MaxPax, he's just going for the all-in. Yeah. And Astrea, he's waiting for Blink. He's going to try to blink into the main. And blindly, I should add. He can go for the pylon. True. He can go for the pylon. And now he's aware. He's aware of the 3-gate setup. He sees the massive army. He has to get out of here. And this is going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a tough hold. Nicely done. Astrea pulling MaxPax apart. Gets into the mineral line. 6 probes going to be going down. 7 probes even. Shades into the main. Astrea, he's forcing the all-in. I mean, MaxPax, he was going all-in anyway. But now it's going to be a delayed all-in. It's going to be disrupted. He has less economy. Less resources. It's going to be delayed. Despite that, there's still going to be a tough hold. Immortal production has begun. We need shield batteries. We need shield batteries here at the natural and the 3rd. Astrea, he pokes out, and he will spot the army. Yeah, he sees. Yeah, does see the army. MaxPax does have the Stalker lead. And again, it's going to be a tough hold for Astrea. No shield batteries. Yeah, he's going to be overwhelmed. He has to back up. He cannot fight head-on. Not like this. And again, there's no shield batteries. There's no setup here. Astrea, he was so greedy. The Immortal has arrived. True. He has the Immortal. The Immortal is helping. But there's a dive. The Immortal goes down. Boys aren't being pulled. And Astrea, he cannot survive. He cannot defend against this. Yeah, it's not going to happen. As MaxPax, he takes over the natural. Now the boys are being pulled, but it's too little too late. The damage has been done. And MaxPax, he's snowballing out of control. Again, Astrea, he was too greedy, but yeah. It was impressive play out of Astrea, we'll say that, when it came to sniping and delaying the production and getting into the mineral lines, but GG gets called, and MaxPax, he will force game 5. Let's go. We're getting into game 5. Again, just Astrea, he just misread the situation. If he was aware, he would have cut worker production earlier. He would have obviously not taken the 3rd base. But even with the 3rd base, we would have seen earlier shield batteries and earlier defensive setup there. But again, he just didn't really know how dedicated MaxPax was. He didn't see the proxy gateway, of course. He was not aware. And with that, we're going to the ace match. Let's go. Are going to the ace match. And we'll see how this story ends. See someone asking in the chat, how does one watch this in game? We do give out replay packs to our subscribers, referring to subscribers on Twitch or Patreon members as well, patrons if you will. So you can gain access to the replay packs, but when it comes to joining in-game lobbies, that is reserved to only casters, only the main coverage casters of the event. I know there are other games where, like, I think Dota has the ability for like public viewing. I think it's possible for people to just watch games that are occurring. I think there might be like a bit of a delay, but I think Dota has that ability, which is really cool. Unfortunately, that isn't possible, or that isn't available in StarCraft. That isn't a feature in StarCraft 2. But I think that's available in Dota, and maybe I think in League of Legends as well, right? I think and maybe some of the other games where you can where in game you can like spectate matches as they're occurring. I think that's a thing. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match, getting into game 5, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player. We have the red Protoss being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Astrea. We go. So all good, all good. All good. As for now, we do have a 2-gate opener here, 2-gate opener out of Astrea. Likewise, gates Cyber expand out of MaxPax. Astrea does move out across the map. Now, with this setup here, Astrea, he has the opportunity to go for an all-in. Last game, despite this opener, Astrea, he went for a sentry into expand. And again, I was actually I was favoring Astrea in that last game, if only he was aware of what was happening. That was the big thing, the big downside, the big hurdle there in the last game from Astrea, was the fact that he was just unaware of the all-in. Meanwhile, MaxPax does throw down the Nexus. That is a Nexus before Stargate. And Astrea, he has the option to respond with a pylon. Yeah, this probe is looking sinister, and there it is. A pylon gets thrown down, one base all-in. So Astrea, he's going for the all-in, and MaxPax, he has a delayed Stargate, which means a delayed Void Ray. Now, this isn't the greediest build you can go for, thankfully, so he will have access to earlier Sentry and a slightly earlier Stargate compared to previously. And with this, he can muster defense. Where's the Stargate, by the way? Shield battery first. Sentry goes down. Sorry, probe goes down, getting a second sentry. Meanwhile, Astrea is moving in. The pylon is spotted. And, oh, okay, Max actually responds with a Robo, not a Stargate. Very strong response here. Again, a Robo opener is very safe. It is designed to shut down these all-ins. So far, so good, but again, needs more time to get there. Has more shield wires being thrown down. Astrea poking in. Again, he's going for the proxy Robo as well. And Max just throwing down as many shield wires as he can. There's going to be 3 shield wires on the low ground. Astrea poking in. Just forcing energy to be spent. Forcing out energy. Getting volleys off so far. No hull damage here on Astrea. But again, Max just buying time here for the Immortal. Max actually just needs a little bit more time. And he has done it. Yeah, he's even getting a force shield, Jesus. Oh, doesn't go for the force field. Nice moves. Doesn't go for the force field. Does juggle into the main. But the force fields are soon to run out. And it looks like, can he get it? He barely can. Yeah, he barely can. Does force a recall. Robo's under fire, but the recall does complete. And we'll see if Astrea can pull this off. Max tries the Immortal pin back. Sentry's going to be going down. Does try to tap with the Immortal. But the force fields do run out. The Immortal going ham. It's going to be tough here for Astrea. He does break through. Takes out the Immortal. Not bad. Nice juggling. Yeah, very nice juggling. Very nice control. Going for the warp in. The Prism will survive. And Astrea, he's doing it. Wow, he has broken through. He takes over the main. GG gets called. And Astrea, he will overwhelm. He will take the series 3-2. He will take down MaxPax and advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, really quick moves there out of Astrea to force the recall, to force field the ramp. Again, the recall was delayed as well. Not just that, but if you remember, the recall only recalled a handful of units. It was only the Immortal and the Sentries. The Stalkers, they were pinned back. The Stalkers, there was just so much wasted DPS as the Stalkers not adding any value to that fight. On top of that, because of the recall, the SimCity was a little bit awkward, and the Immortal had a really hard time engaging. So the Immortal DPS was heavily delayed. The Stalker DPS was delayed as well. It was an awkward defense there for MaxPax. GG, Astrea, he does it again. He does it again. He will overwhelm. He will claim the series, and Astrea does advance on to the grand finals. Let's go. Let us go, where he will face off against ByuN in a best of 5. So Astrea versus ByuN in those finals. Here we go. Just catching up. GG. Ah, it was intense. It was an intense game, baby, with GG. Well played. But yes, we are going to be going on a break here. So we're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have that grand finals, of course. We'll have ByuN and Astrea coming up next to determine the winner of this week's PiGosaur Cup. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the break. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals of the PiGosaur Cup, number 39, your weekly dose of pig action. Here we go. We're jumping into our grand finals here. This is the final series of the broadcast. We're here to determine our champion. Who will take it? Will it be a Terran? Will it be a Protoss? We're here to find out. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of torches, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is Astrea. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVP. And coming into this, I'll be honest, I kind of lean towards Astrea here. Astrea, his strongest matchup is PBT. Like, this is where he thrives. This is where he's at his best. Of course, he took down GuMiho to make it this far, and he's already beaten GuMiho, ByuN, Ryung, who else comes to mind? Clem, of course, Clem as well. Astrea has been looking like a beast as of late, but as I mentioned previously, Astrea, he thrives in the mid game and the mid to late game. That's where he does thrive, but this is why I do feel like he does quite well against ByuN. We've spoken about this before as well. ByuN, he's the most macro of all the Korean Terrans. If you compare ByuN to Kyor, to Bunny, to GuMiho, to Maru as well, all the others are a lot more willing to go for 2 base all-ins. ByuN, he's the one out of all of them that's more willing to get a third CC, to get a third base, and to play out a longer macro game instead, which I feel like kind of leans towards Astrea's strengths, but we'll see. We'll see how this series plays out, especially because game 1 is on torches. Already a crazy map to begin with. This map is known for aggression. This map is known for all-ins. Some of the features, of course, we have our natural base, we have our potential third if you expand forward here, if you mine through these middle patches. We have the goal base as well. We have seen plenty of instances where Terran players, they take the triangular third, they push forward, they take the fourth base as the gold, and then they snowball out of control with that goal base pushing into the Protoss. Likewise, there are goal bases on the left-hand side, and there are healing pads as well. So there are definitely a lot of ways to be aggressive on this map. On top of that, short rush distance by air. Now, because of the short rush distance by air, we've seen a lot of Protoss players open Stargate. We've also seen a lot of Terran players open Banshee as well. So we'll see how our players make use of the map. We'll see how our players do approach this. So far, we do have a ByuN going for his 1-1-1. CC is on the way, so it was a double gas opener. Double gas racks into factory, into faster starport, into faster potential drop play, or add-on swap into Banshee. As we mentioned, Banshee play is quite common, quite popular on torches. Reavers, they bust in, they bypass the sentry, they go for the mineral line, as so far probes are being denied, or mining times are being denied. And he does get one. Yeah, one probe goes down. Gets one so far, doesn't get a scout of the tech, and we'll get a second probe. Oh, just barely towards the end. 2 probes to 2 Reapers. Hellion busts in. Oh, can he get one more? Not quite. Yeah, not quite here. But does get 2 workers. Our scout does confirm that Blink is on the way. Meanwhile, behind this, no add-on swap, going to be opening up Cyclone. No Tech Lab, going for the drop play first. Now, this can be a initial Cyclone drop, then into an add-on swap into Banshee. We'll keep an eye on ByuN to see where the Tech Labs are going to be placed and what is done with the starport. For now, early drop. And of course, Astrea, he sees, right? He sees everything he needs to. I say that it is not uncommon to go for the Tech Lab and go Widowmine instead of Cyclone as a bit of a fake out, but Hallucination confirms. Yeah, he confirms the Cyclone, he gets eyes on everything. Here we go. Does confirm. There we go, there's the add-on swap, that's what we're waiting for, and he confirms the add-on swap as well. Now, whether this is Banshee or Raven, there it is, Raven, not Banshee. And this is something that Astrea is not aware of. He saw the tech, he saw the production, but it could be one or the other. Meanwhile, the drop has arrived, we have the Cyclone towards left, we have the drop into the natural. Probes are exposed, he gets one. Oh, not quite. He's going to be deflected, Astrea holds. Astrea, he's holding, does deflect. So far, solid defense here from Astrea. And behind this, tanks are amassing. Ravens on the way. You have a safety bunker here out of ByuN, and we're still building up towards that mid game. We're getting there. Are still getting there. So we see ByuN pulling away. ByuN does pull away with the Raven, does keep it hidden for the time being. Meanwhile, Astrea gaining map control, claiming a third base, and going into a gateway heavy composition. From Blink into what? Into Charge, into Storm as well. Astrea settling in. Meanwhile, we do have to make a choice here from ByuN. ByuN, he does have a 3-1-1 setup. He does go for the Mass on Siege. Oh, he's pushing. Yeah, he is pushing. He's committing. Bearing in mind the stim is not even halfway done. He gets spotted by the Observer. Astrea, it's on him to engage ahead of time. So at least try to. Oh. Gets a couple of volleys on the medevac. Not bad. Medevac taking a lot of hits. Marines, they hold their own. At the same time, Cyclone harass into the middle line. The 3 probe is going to be going down. Astrea, he's distracted. They're losing 5 probes. Brutal damage. And Stalkers taking a lot of hits. Cyclone is cleaned up. That's still going to be 5 dead workers. Raven harass into the main. Going for another auto turret. Going for more worker harass. Ooh, and that's going to be 9 probes. 10 probes even. That is brutal damage. And even though ByuN, his main army, doesn't get across the map, he is successful when it comes to harassing. 10 probe kills. He doesn't have to push, doesn't have to move out. The damage has been done. May as well wait for all these upgrades. Stim is now done. Combat shields finishing up in 10 seconds, +1 as well. And there's that 3rd TC. If you remember something at the start of this series that we did mention is that ByuN, out of all the Korean Terrans, he's the one that's most willing to get into a longer game and not go for the all-in. You can see it here. ByuN takes a lead, and I feel like if we were casting Bunny or Cure, they would just pull the boys. They would just push and pull the boys. Here, ByuN expands. Dropping into the main, pushing through the center. Dragging or just pulling Astrea apart. Force a recall. GG gets called. He does get pulled apart, and ByuN takes game number 1. Whew, GG. A solid game here out of ByuN, able to just harass and pull Astrea apart. Again, it wasn't the main army that did the damage. It was more of a distraction. It was the Cyclone harass. It was the Raven harass as well. Those two together did do critical damage. Did critical damage here. Astrea, he was torn apart left and right. He couldn't quite keep up with the movement of ByuN. And this is where Torches comes into play. We spoke about it. Short rush distance by air as well. Short rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored here on Torches. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take the first game, and we'll see where the rest of our games lead us here. Just checking the map order. Game 2, ley lines. Now, on some of these more standard maps and larger maps as well, I'm thinking ley lines, Tokamak, I'm thinking Maganatha as well. I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards Astrea when it comes to his ability to defend and get into a longer game. Remember, I do favor Astrea over ByuN if he can get into that mid game in a solid position. 3-4 base setup, if he can get there. On these smaller maps, that's where I'm going to be favoring ByuN. Maps like Torches, maps like Pylon, maps like Persephone as well. But we'll see how we get there. We'll see how we do get there. For now, game 2 is on ley lines. This is one of the more standard maps in the map pool, and we'll see how our players will adjust here. So getting into game 2. Here we go. Question mark, he was still up in workers, I think. He was behind. Astrea was behind. Even though the recall was going to be stopping the drop, that is true. Pros are still going down, and the main army was pushing forward. Like, defending both locations at once there, he was going to be torn apart. It was, yeah, just a really rough position for Astrea. And now here we go, we're getting into our next game. As spawning in the bottom hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, what we have our American Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Astrea. But yes, it was the fact that ByuN was pushing in 2 locations at once. He was dropping in the main and pushing through the center towards the third. It's both coming together. But Here we go, we're getting into game 2, and again, we'll see how our players will approach this. As I mentioned before, if Astrea can get into a proper 3-base economy, if he can survive the early game, if he can minimize losses, then he can thrive. That's going to be a big if here. I say that, if you remember, he did have a crazy game against GuMiho earlier, where GuMiho did kill 20 workers in the lead up to the mid game. It was insane damage, but Astrea was able to stabilize anyway. He was able to gain map control, able to recover, able to pin back his opponent, and bounce back in that game. It was an impressive game there by Astrea, and I do recommend the VODs here between Astrea and GuMiho if you are curious to see how that game did play out. But we'll see how players adjust. For now, gate expand. Greedier build here by Astrea, going for the gate expand before the cyber core. Meanwhile, ByuN back at home going double gas. Once again, bearing in mind that ByuN did open up double gas last game as well. Last game, this led into an early Cyclone, into early drop play, into Raven harass. This time, we'll see if it goes into something similar. This could lead into Widowmine drops, into Banshee play. If you recall, Banshee play was something that was still on the table, and still is as well. Likewise, we could see a commitment into more Cyclones, into early tank drop. ByuN has options. Does have options. For now, the Reaper is moving out across the map, and we'll see how ByuN defends back at home. Favorite America versus Korea has changed. I mean, once again, like Astrea, if you've been watching recently, he recently took down GuMiho, ByuN, and Ryung, and he forced Clem to the ace match. Like, specifically, I'm also mentioning Terran players. Like Astrea, his PvT has been crazy. I will say that Astrea's weakest matchup is PvZ. I don't favor Astrea against players like Solar, against Shin, against the other top Zerg players. I do think that's where Astrea struggles the most, at least currently. Of course, everyone is still working on their matchups and everyone's getting ready for EWC, of course. But everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. As ByuN does dive into the mineral line, ooh, does bust in and gets one, getting up to 2 probe kills. Nice damage so far. Getting up to 3. 3 workers go down, getting a 4th probe towards the end. Very nice early game damage. Getting a 5th probe as well. And this is getting out of hand. And again, a really strong start for ByuN. And I do think that this is where you have to thrive. I mentioned earlier, like if Astrea can get up to 3 bases, if he can get up to 4 bases, like that's where he can pop off. But if, I mean, in the early game, that is where he can struggle. That's where you can try to catch him off guard. Here comes the add-on swap. So far, same build. Reaper Hellion, Cyclone into a Cyclone drop, into an add-on swap. Are we going Raven again? Are we going Banshee? There's that add-on swap. ByuN does move out. And show us what you got. Same build, Raven. Is going for the same build. This time catches out a Stalker. Very nice catch here by ByuN. Stalker does go down. I do see Astrea racing back. Does race back to defend. He's trying to catch out the drop. Does miss it. Rotating back over. Once again, going for the mineral line. Gets another probe. I believe that's 7 in total. 7 getting up to 8. Medevac goes down. ByuN does trade as best he can. Does focus out another probe. And another. Oh my god, getting a 4th probe towards the end. In total, 10 probe kills. Very nice damage. 10 probes. 10 workers go down. Astrea trying to stabilize here on 3 bases. At the same time, Raven is moving in. And again, all this damage, it builds up over time. It builds up over time here. Astrea, he moves out to contain his opponents, but the Raven's already moving in. It's going to come down to the reaction time here of Astrea. Raven pulls away. Astrea, he spots it. Just spot the Raven. Stalkers are ready. And Astrea, he has some catching up to do. I will say that ByuN, he's in a really nice position here. He's getting his own upgrades, of course. He does deal economic damage across the map. Building up his own bio tank. Astrea isn't out of this, but at this point he can't afford many more losses. And he tries to poke in. Behind this is working towards Colossus, working towards the Bay. Photo turret, oh, in towards the third. Does commit. He even does catch out a Stalker. Nice pickup. Stalker goes down. Denies mining time. No kills on the main. Still up in workers. I should emphasize this as well when it comes to the economy here and how the economy works in TVP, is that a Protoss player has to be ahead to be even with your opponent. They have to be up a base, they have to be up in workers, just because of how mules do function in TVP. And bearing in mind that losing 10 workers early on does force you to replenish those workers, does delay your tech. It means later tech, later production, later army. But this is why ByuN has a 20 supply lead. Like, ByuN, he shouldn't be this far ahead in supply, but this is because of the economic damage early on. So it's important that, like, at times some numbers can be deceiving. Like, the supply disparity is because of the economic damage. And here we go, does drop into natural, 5 more probe kills, trades well against the Zealots. And from here, can pick up. Actually going for the Colossus. This is quite greedy here. Yeah, nice splits, nice spread. The Colossus takes a lot of hits, but he will lose everything. Again, a big commitment here from ByuN. At the same time, pushing towards a third. ByuN overextending a little bit. Takes down the pylon. Tanks do siege. That's a lot of Widow Mines. Yeah, Widow Mines, they pop up. Oof. They shut down the Stalkers. Nice focus firing there out of Astrea, and Astrea he holds. Ooh, Astrea he holds on at the same time, drop back into the natural base at the same time, auto starts into the main. 13 probes going to be going down. Ay, ay, ay. So a bit of a give and take. Astrea, his economy once again is going to be crippled, but ByuN did commit quite hard to killing the Colossus, and it was not worth it. So we do have a back and forth. Behind this, third TC is going to be on the way. Just now starting. Throws down the third. Astrea moves out. And Astrea, he will take his fourth. And again, thankfully, he maintains a Colossus count. That's what's important here. He didn't lose a Colossus. So Astrea, he survives. Whew, okay. Does hold, does survive. Meanwhile, we do see ByuN moving out with his own mine drop. Is pushing towards the natural. At the same time, moving out towards the fourth. Bearing in mind that ByuN still has that army supply lead. Oh no! Oh, late reaction. No reaction. Probes are going down. Massive connections. 5 more probe kills. 2 more mines into the main. And he's pushing in. Yeah, he's moving in. Only one Stalker. Colossus finally goes down. One Colossus left. And this Bio army is terrifying. Kites well. Mine shots going off. Zealots they crumble. There are so many Marauders. And he can stim in. Yeah, he can stim, he can dive. He wants it. He wants a Colossus, and he's going to get it as well. Massive pickup, and ByuN, he does it. He breaks Astrea. Mine drop towards the third. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take a lead in the series. 2-0. GG. GG, well played, ByuN. He will extend his lead here again. Once again, ByuN just popping off early on, pulling Astrea apart, dropping into the main, dropping into the natural. He was able to cripple Astrea early on, was able to get 10 worker kills, so a really, really strong start out of ByuN, and that led him into his move out. I will say that ByuN did overextend, again, trying to dive on the Colossus. It did feel a little bit too cheeky there by ByuN. It wasn't quite worth it. But amidst all the chaos, he killed another 13 workers, once again crippling Astrea. Once again, momentum was still in ByuN's favor. With that, did overwhelm. And that leads us into game number 3. Oh boy. And what concerns me is that was meant to be Astrea's map, is what I will say. Like, ley lines, it's one of the larger maps, or at least more standard maps of the map pool. Like, you do have a little bit more breathing room, the bases are a little bit more defendable. Like, this would have been Astrea's map. Without ley lines, things are looking a little bit dire as we're loading into Pylon. Pylon is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Short rush distance by ground, doesn't take long at all to get across the map. Oh boy. Here we go. Just catching up. MaxPax playing again. MaxPax, he got knocked out in the semifinals. He was competing, but Astrea did bring him down in the semis. Likewise, ByuN took down Solar in the semifinals as well. So yes, this is the finals. It is a best of 5, and I'm hoping that we get a little bit more out of this series, but it's been a pretty fast series. We had some fast games, and here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 2-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss down in the series, down heavily in the series. And can he bounce back? Can he recover? Can he make a series out of this? It is Astrea. Here we go, as ByuN has been hyper aggressive so far in game 1 and game 2, dealing critical early game damage, dealing critical economic damage in both games, and snowballing into a win from there. Astrea, he needs to tighten up his early game here against ByuN to have a chance here to recover. We gotta tighten up back. Let's go. Double gas once again. Once again, double gas. If you remember, so far we've seen the same build and the same opener 2 games in a row out of ByuN. Each time we've seen double gas into a factory, into early Cyclone, into Reaper Hellion, into Cyclone drop, into Raven, and with that he's been able to harass and just pull Astrea apart. We'll see if that trend continues. Here we go. As Astrea does go for the gate, expand into Cybercore. Economic opener here out of Astrea. There's that factory for ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. Never heard of MaxPax. Looks good though. MaxPax, he's a very solid player. Very solid. There's a chance that you might not have heard him if you only watch offline events, just because MaxPax, he doesn't compete in offline tournaments. But when it comes to the overall player pool, like MaxPax, he is, I'll say, what, the best Protoss in Europe? Best Protoss in Europe. I think in current era of StarCraft, you can make an argument for certain matchups in regards to Showtime and Clem. But I think overall, like, even though I would say that MaxPax has been struggling in certain aspects, like, he's still number 1 in Europe. Still number 1. As we do have Astrea poking in. Does poke in, gets a scout off. Meanwhile, we do have our 1-1-1 setup here from ByuN. And is going for his tech labs. Tech labs are on the way. Is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Astrea. Does open Twilight Council. Reaper Hellion moves out. Now, last game, if you remember, this did achieve, how much was it? Was it 5 worker kills? It was crazy. It was 5. It was 5 probe kills in game 2. Meanwhile, nice SimCity. Very nice. Oh, Force Field does pop up. Boys are being pulled. Does shut down one of the Reapers. Yeah, better defense here. Much better out of Astrea. Takes down 2 Reapers in the main. At the same time, shield by everything natural. Make sure that no probes go down to the Hellion. So much cleaner defense here from Astrea. And with that, he will get into the other game in a much better position. As ByuN, he will get a 2nd probe kill. And he shouldn't get a 3rd. Yeah, it doesn't get a 3rd. So again, a cleaner early game out of Astrea. Meanwhile, we do go for the Cyclone, into add-on swap, into Raven again. So yeah, same build. Same build, 3 games in a row out of ByuN. Does move out. Again, this time Astrea's been adapting. He does spot the move out. Nice scout here from Astrea. He is aware of what's going on. He will even chase the medevac. Oh, almost does intercept. Very close. Very close. Astrea, he does fan out. Does fan out looking for ByuN. He does miss the drop. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, ByuN dropping into the natural. Going for the mineral line. Gets a couple of workers. Meanwhile, we do see Astrea moving in. Cleans up the Marines, and at least thankfully does keep his mineral line alive. Yeah, only 2 probe kills. Again, a much cleaner defense here by Astrea. This time he was able to be in position, in time. And this is what we've been missing. Let's go. Astrea. Is what we've been missing. Oh, I say that. We actually did go into Cloak Banshee. My mistake. My apologies. I did assume it was just going to be Raven. Banshee's moving in, and do we have any detection? No observer. Wow, no observer here. The one Banshee popping off. Probes are going down. Observer still on the way. 4 probe kills. Earlier we did see the Raven, but looks like we had to cancel. ByuN canceled the Raven, went Banshee instead. 4 probe kills, and the Banshee gets away. At the same time, drop here into the 3rd. This isn't critical damage yet, but it's getting there. 6, soon to be 7 probes. Cyclone back in. There we go. 7 probes go down. Banshee hits a natural. Thankfully, there's a shield battery. That's still going to be 8 worker kills. That's going to be 15 in total, baby. Ay. That's a full mineral line. Full mineral line does go down. In general, we had a cleaner defense out of Astrea with the Banshees. They did make up for that, and we'll see if Astrea can stabilize from here. So he doesn't quite get a lot done across the map. 3rd TC is on the way here for ByuN. Getting his 3rd TC. Stim is almost done. +1. Combat shields. ByuN is macroing out of this. And ByuN is in a better economic game state. From here, he can break out, he can expand. Astrea, once again, is going for Colossus, not going for Storm first. Colossus are slowly amassing. As ByuN does move out with his drop. Does move out. The observer did spot the medevacs. Or at least did spot the army peel off. Drop into the main, going for +1. +1 is going to be denied. Yeah, takes down +1, takes down the pylon. Likewise, main army pushing right through the center. And ByuN does get away. He does get away in time. Astrea, he's barely keeping up though. He does rotate in time. And he's keeping up with the ByuN. The Colossus so exposed. There's no support. No, there's no support. The Colossus does go down. Massive pickup. Takes down the Colossi. At the same time, drop back into the main base, and Astrea is being torn apart here. Probes are going down. And again, before Astrea can stabilize on 3 bases, he's not going to get there. It's not going to happen. Not in this series. Not in this best of 5. As ByuN has been hyper aggressive. He experienced Astrea's late game one too many times. He's like, never again. Never again, papi. Ay. And Astrea's been crippled. At this point, he has been crippled. It's going to be a really rough road to recover here. At this point, he's hoping that ByuN makes mistakes. He's hoping to catch out some full medevacs. He's hoping that ByuN overextends at some point. But for the most part, ByuN, he's in the driver's seat. He has a massive advantage, a massive lead. He's now pushing in. Widowmans are setting up. And nice splits here with the Zealots. Nice splits. Colossus has to be so careful. As that Colossus is so vulnerable. And ByuN sims in. He sims in, he goes to the dive. He wants a Colossus, and he's going to get it as well. Massive pickoff, takes down the final Colossus. Likewise, dropping back into the main. Astrea, he moves out of position. Drop does come back in. Once again, 6 probe kills. Yeah, 6 workers, does stand in fights. ByuN still rallying. GG gets called as he has torn Astrea apart, and ByuN, he will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's PiGosaur Cup champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very impressive performance here out of ByuN. Really fast games, really fast matches here. Hyper aggression out of ByuN with the early game Reaper Hellion, with the Raven Harass, with the drop play, of course, as well. again, just pulling Astrea apart in every single game. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3. I was talking up Astrea's mid game, his mid to late game, especially his 3 and 4 base setup. If he can get into a robust army, he can take it and even would be favored against ByuN. Again, we cast Astrea defeat ByuN, what, 1-2 weeks ago at the EWC qualifiers in those main events. Like Astrea, he was popping off against ByuN, against GuMiho, against Ryung, against Clem. And since then, ByuN has learned. He's like, you know what? I'm just not going to let you get there. I'm just going to kill you early on instead. We're going to pull you apart. GG, well played. Aggressive play there, very impressive play by ByuN. Does take the series, and a shout out to Astrea, because on the one hand he does go down to ByuN here, but hey, he fought hard to get here. Who did Astrea take down to make it this far in the tournament? He took down MaxPax and GuMiho. Again, GuMiho, also one of the top Terran players out there, did go down to Astrea. I will say though that GuMiho did have a different approach to ByuN. And Astrea was a lot more comfortable against GuMiho, at least a little bit more compared to ByuN, of course. Likewise, we have that back and forth between MaxPax. Also, shout out to ByuN as he takes down Astrea, takes down Solar, and takes down sOs as well. ByuN has been on that grind. He's been playing in everything. You can see like a bit of a disparity between players and how they approach EWC. There are some players like Hero, for example. If you've been noticing, Hero, he's been playing in less tournaments. Hero, over the past like 3 weeks, he's been playing in less tournaments. Likewise, Clem also playing in less tournaments as well. And why? Esports World Cup is right around the corner. A lot of these players, they're deciding to hide some of their play, to hide their builds, and to be less active at online tournaments in preparation for EWC. But then you have other players like ByuN, for example, who just plays in everything. he's just on that grind, playing in as much as he can. A bit of a different kind of mindset. Partly you could argue that maybe because ByuN is more mechanic based, so he has less builds to hide, because it's more about the execution, right? It's more about the execution, the micro, the control, less so about like cheeky builds and cheeky styles. So you could argue that maybe that's part of it as well. But yeah, ByuN, he's just been playing in almost everything, and yeah, with that, GG, well played. Really well done here by ByuN. Congratulations. And of course, best of luck moving forward into EWC for all these top players, for ByuN, for Astrea, for Solar as well. These are players that will be competing in the Esports World Cup. Will be competing. Let's catch you up. Your Masters, light. Yes. And Masters. I don't really play too often, unfortunately. I try to play whenever I can, but because we're casting so much, and there have been other things that have been taking up my time as of late, I haven't had the luxury of laddering. Let's have a look here. So last time I laddered was 14 days ago. So it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we laddered, so yeah, I don't get a lot of time to really play or practice as much as I would like. Like, I do enjoy laddering, I do enjoy streaming, but don't have much time. Don't have much time nowadays. All the casting, Bobby, all the casting. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, before I forget, we can check out our weekly schedule. Bam. There we go. So we just wrapped up with our early Wednesday broadcast here in the morning at 9 AM KST. We have our next broadcast later on tonight, the Pondcast. The Pondcast is going to be at 7 PM KST. That's going to be 8 PM AEST. That is going to be in 6.5 hours. In 6 hours and 30 minutes, we're going to be live with the Pondcast. That is our weekly talk show. Weekly talk show where we go over all things StarCraft. This week, let's have a look. Hold on. What are we talking about? I feel like there've been a lot of announcements this week, right? Let's see. True, we have the disciplinary action from EWC, from the ESIC, regarding Firefly. True, that was announced, I want to say yesterday. We have an interview with Shopify for ByuN. So ByuN had an interview recently. It looks like we had a French interview with Clem. We have some Basilisk Road to EWC interviews. We have Streamer Zone. True, Streamer Zone, they announced their Pro Series, an announcement of an announcement. Still not a lot of details, but that was announced this week. And we have Ladder Legends as well, so we have a lot to discuss, a lot to go over. Speaking of not having a lot of time, I do have to go over a lot of these interviews so I can actually talk about them. So yeah, there was a lot of content, a lot of interviews were made regarding Clem, regarding ByuN, regarding Cyril, Trigger, and Rainer as well. So we're going to be going over that. We're going to be discussing all of that later on tonight, alongside all of the tournaments that occurred as well. I'm going to be discussing KSL, PiGosaur Cup, Tuna Cup, RSL, the Revival StarCraft League, Wardy TV European League, Fusion Esports League as well. All things StarCraft. As always here, we'll be discussing that during our podcast. So that's going to be later on tonight. Otherwise, tomorrow is going to be the StarCraft Evolution League. That's going to be tomorrow and on Friday as well. And we have Fusion Esports League qualifiers and the Polish Championship over the weekend. That's a lot of FEL. That's a lot of Fusion Esports League. For those that are maybe unaware or unfamiliar, a big offline event was announced in Poland, and that's going to be after the Esports World Cup. It's going to be a big offline event happening in Krakow. Gerald did organize it. We actually covered the qualifiers last weekend, and this weekend we have the Polish Championship, and which is going to pit the best players in Poland against each other. The best player, the champion of that event, will be invited to FEL. They'll be earning a seed, and we also have one final global qualifier for FEL as well on Sunday. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft over the course of the week, as always, Pappy, as always. Oh. Here we go. Still don't understand why Protoss players don't invest in anti-drop cannons against ByuN. I would say that because technically these players, they can defend against it. Astrea, he was keeping up with ByuN for the most part until like halfway through, and technically it's more efficient to be able to do so without cannons, right? Like sure, you can, I guess, try to invest into static defense. That's a way you can approach it, but ideally you can do it without it, right? Ideally, like, you have the capacity to do so, and these players can, if they're locked in, you know, if they're locked in, they can keep up with ByuN. I guess it's one of those things where you don't want to rely on a crutch if you don't have to, right? You want to be able to, like, build up your speed, build up your reaction time, build up your skill to do so. What's catching up? I heard light-out laddering 24 hours. Oh, you're an animal, 007. You're an animal. Also, a big shout out to Selexica. There we go. Selexica in the chat. God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you so much for the support. Sometimes theory doesn't always pan out. For sure. Right as well. Like, cannons are also quite limited in the kind of defense that they provide. They can be a bit of a deterrent or maybe buy some time, but they're also stationary as well. Like, there's a lot that gets into it, for sure. Most people's cases, it's better to be honest about their abilities. I mean, kind of. Like, it also sets him behind in other aspects. Like, I would say from Astrea, like, he totally has the ability to keep up with ByuN, for sure. Here, ByuN did tear him apart, but, you know, next time, Pappy, next time. Let's go. Otherwise, we're wrapping up. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up here. And again, we're going to be back in 6.5 hours time. And, yeah, we'll have some more StarCraft. Otherwise, hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great rest of your week as well. Hope you have a great time. And we'll be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who is live at the moment? Who is live? Who can we raid? Who can we send everyone over to? Let's go. Have a good rest day. Thank you. I'll be watching all the interviews and getting some sleep before the podcast. Yo, I see Gnocchi is live. Let's go. Bully is streaming as well. I haven't rated Bully in a long time. So I feel like it's been a while. We can give him some love. He was casting, actually. He was casting today. We'll give it to ByuN. Okay. But yes, otherwise, thanks for watching, thanks for support, and we'll see you guys next time. Papi. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao. See you next time.